but I like the garden, the park is great.
I mean, you just gotta kind of factor in the weather, right?
Yeah.
There's the type things you can have like.
Yeah. There's definitely some unknowns.
I guess you can insure against some of those things, maybe.
I have a cousin who's a big commercial modeler. He's been out once already. He's coming out again to help us during the off season when he can't farm in the winter, you know. Come down. He's got some.
Is that North Carolina, is he like North Carolina? What do they grow there?
No. Pull the chair up. Ain't no more pull bits. Suppose I have.
No more what? Oh, yeah. Still there, but.
Yeah. Hey, how you doing?
Oh, yeah.
Between November and January.
Tell me I'm going.
I know about now.
Mr. Kanata.
Long time no see.
Wish I could sing. I could sing. Like,
You can go to the opera.
I love that kind of situation. Yeah. That's good.
I just briefly put it in the cost up here and some of the stuff about, I'm not sure I agree with. I'm just saying.
I was just saying, he's over there. Let's go up. Yeah, I didn't want to do this. Maria. Sent it all the way down to give me a print of it. Because Henry couldn't get a hold of me. I don't pay extra.
Something familiar. Terminate.
Yeah.
This is the regular meeting of the CHamoru Land Trust Commission. Today's date is August 17, 2023, Thursday. It is now 1:03 in the afternoon. We are conducting this meeting in the conference room, 590 South Marine Corps Drive, ITC Building Suite 223, second floor, Tamuning, Guam. Public comments may be made at cltc.admin@cltc.guam.gov. To view the meeting virtually, log on to GovGuam Live, YouTube, or CLTC Facebook page, or Google Meet joining info video call link meet.google.com/YJCTXR-HWN. Public notice was given on the Guam Daily Post on August 10, 2023, and August 15, 2023. Government of Guam Public Notice Portal, CLTC Facebook page, and on CLTC website at www.guam.gov. This meeting is now called to order. Would you please stand up so we can say the unification?
Mi presi givimi ma stati in sokui ma stati lungi coração da mostigo na na rua presi mais azul para vai o proteger exame e nem de cultura e aí vamos a habitantes e chapo direto da justiça destina rua de Maria Bíblia da bandeira rua de bandeira Guam Viva
Roll call. Starting with Mr. Dave Herrera, Earl J. Burrito, Alice Dyron, Christine Fina, Kristen Fini, Joseph B. Cruz, and other employees.
Madam Chair, so the minutes for the July 13th, 2023 meeting is still being prepared. We lost our AA to another agency and was incomplete, so my apologies for that. It will be, as a matter of fact, Ms. Kathy Cabrera is transcribing, and that should be ready by the next meeting. She's almost done.
Okay. Now, old business, number one is lot 7161-R1 GGO.
So, Madam Chair, at the and Commissioners, at the last meeting, the Commissioners made a decision to move forward and prepare a request for proposal for lot 7161-R1 GGO. Currently, our PC4, Mr. Joseph B. Cruz, is working on that, putting that together. That takes a little bit of time. But it's here under old business. Should there be any other discussions that the Commissioners needed to have? So at present, we are currently working on an RFP for that property, also doing other research that may be needed. That's per the instructions of our Commissioners from the last meeting.
Commissioners, do you have any comments?
Yes, I just want to know what is our status on the Raceway Park?
Status as in, so, as in, can we lock it up or we,
The unlawful detainer.
Yeah, that, I'll just say that's still under legal review. That's the only update I can give you at this time.
However, while it's under legal review, given the board's decision, we're gonna continue to move along with it until we can get legal, our Attorney General's, response.
How soon can the RFP be written up and published?
That takes a little bit of time because it also requires research. It is being prepared, and as soon as legal has given us our guidance, if they say move forward, we can publish it. So I've asked Joey to ensure that it's ready to go the minute we get instructions that we're okay to move forward with an RFP, right? So that it doesn't sit any longer than it has to. So writing it could take a few months, could take a few weeks, but he's working on it. And now it's really waiting for legal's response with regard to the next steps.
You know, and we have people in the public that are here concerned about the raceway. So,
What type of a timeline are you looking at?
Oh, for me, you know, I really can't speak to that. If there's, I know that there's additional investigation that's going on, and then I think that the timeline is gonna depend on the results of those additional investigations. So I really can't say more right now, other than just that it is under legal review. And that's, I'll just, you know, just say it's at the deputy AG level.
I continue to meet with your, so that there's always going to be a discussion and that we're constantly trying to get an update with regard to where we are legally at this point, unless the commissioners say otherwise.
any more comments?
Madam Chair, if I may ask, I see that One Raceway representatives are here, and just to confirm that they are still occupying the property, so maybe we can hear from some of the president of One Raceway, so maybe we can hear their.
So you would like to have Guam Raceway come to the table and comment?
Correct, because right now they're still occupying the property, right? And basically they're still maintaining the property control, because I understand from the last meeting we had, it was for to prevent pilferage and damages to the property. So, but we still have our own legal representative to give us some legal guidance about the occupancy, because. So if I may ask, Madam Chair, for your permission, if your knowledge.
Commissioner, that is within your authority. So if that's the case, we can have them.
We will just open it to make their comments
Okay.
and their concerns.
Okay. So if we have the members of the Guam Racing Federation, you can step forward, take a seat, please speak into the mic, introduce yourself and your position and or affiliation with the Guam Racing Federation for the record.
Half a day, everyone. My name is Joey Crisostomo, and I'm a board member of the Guam Racing Federation.
Good afternoon, Jeffrey Jones, also a board member of Guam Racing Federation.
Chris Nelson, Guam Adventures. We were a licensed subtenant under CLTC and the Guam Racing Federation.
So you may.
Okay. First, I want to ask you if the Chamorro Land Trust Commission, if they received a letter from our board member on August 2nd, Wednesday, August 2nd, it was emailed to the Chamorro Land Trust. Anybody receive that? No?
I don't recall.
Okay, I'm going to leave copies, but I'd like to read it because it kind of answers a lot of questions. It says, Hafaday Chairperson Bordalio and Director Tyrone. On behalf of the Guam Racing Federation, I would like to thank you for conducting a meeting on July 13th, 2023 to discuss the 120-day lease extension letter that GRF submitted to the Chamorro Land Trust. GRF's new board members attended the meeting. The GRF board listened to the commissioners' concerns, held a meeting to address the CLTC's concerns, and we have acted to address them. The GRF has notified all known users of the Guam International Raceway Park to refrain from all activities at the raceway until the GRF can resolve the concerns raised during the meeting. Notifications were sent to Guam Adventures, GearMac, GCF, GCC, and other Guam International Raceway user groups. The facility is locked, and at the CLTC's convenience, we can provide another set of keys to the locks. I believe you have a set already prior. As we speak, there are currently no public spaces available for safe drag racing, drifting, autocross, or motocross. Also, the assets of the GIR and CLTC are at risk and currently being pilfered, as demonstrated by missing copper wire used to light the raceway. Vegetation is beginning to consume the facility as well. Additionally, there was a large water leak that was found when we were securing the facility. We have since turned off the GWA main valve. This will only get worse without any activity to monitor the facility, deter the theft, and volunteer maintenance activity to control the vegetation. Theft and lack of volunteer maintenance threatens to deteriorate not only the work and effort exercised to build the raceway, but also Guam taxpayer dollars spent to build it. The CLTC has an opportunity and authority to immediately address both concerns of the racing community and the deterioration of its own assets. The CLTC support has been resounding and consistent at every public meeting. The GRF board, all whom attended the legislative public hearing, has heard loud and clear what the CLTC expects of its tenants and the sticking points that led to failed negotiations of a lease as provided by Public Law 34-142. GRF feels strongly that these issues can be resolved between us. The GRF respectfully asks the CLTC to rescind the current eviction notice and reinstate negotiations with the GRF per Public Law 34-142. The new board members of the Racing Federation commit to negotiating in good faith and working toward an agreement that addresses both parties' concerns and the CLTC's mission. At the CLTC's convenience, as was recommended in the previous meeting, we can set a meeting up between GRF's legal counsel and the CLTC's legal counsel. Our legal counsel has agreed to that meeting. During both the legislative hearing and the CLTC meeting, the support for the racing community and activities were overwhelming, and we are very grateful for your continued support. And on that, I'm going to get away from the letter a little bit. When you look at racing in general, I've been a racer since I was 11, since 1971. And the government and the people have been trying to find a racing facility since then. Governor Ricky Bordalio was a proponent of racing, the activities, getting people off the streets. They even held a legal drag race on Marine Drive in Antigua one year. And you look at, from there, Governor Gutierrez, looked for property. We've had Governor Cowell. We've had everyone looking to make it work. And you have been able to make it work for us since 1998. When that license agreement was signed. When that license agreement was signed and the current state of that property, there was no value to the Chamorro Land Trust. That property at that time had zero value, and to the point where in the lease agreement dated June 1st, 1998, it says lot number 7161-R1 Gigo, whereas the portion of the property requested by licensee is developable for other commercial, agriculture, or residential use. And this was signed by then Director Joe Borja at the time. And so, you know, looking back these last 2 months after the public hearing and the hearing we had here last month, you know, it just brought back a lot of thoughts and what's really happened behind the scenes for many, many years with many officials and so forth. And on behalf of the board, we strongly feel we can make things happen in the right direction, both for the benefit of the Chamorro Land Trust and the benefit of the community. The property right now, the way it's done, the way it's been done since the 20 years with the Guam Racing Federation, it's developed into a nice piece. And the Chamorro Land Trust owns that right now, right? And so 20 years ago, the value was zero, pretty much, right? Undevelopable. And now you look at what we've put in there. Imagine what another 50 years will do, where in 50 years, the Chamorro Land Trust will be saying, wow, this is even, it's worth a lot, it's worth millions more, you know, in 50 years. And what you're doing for the community is even greater. It's hard to put a dollar value to that. From the drag racing, to the drifting, to the autocross and then the motocross. So many things go on in that racetrack that you've affected a lot of people's lives in a positive way by opening this up over the last 20 years. You really have. And this is, you know, it's gone through probably 5 directors and so many more board members. And you've all had a big part in our lives, in my lives, particularly, you know, with my racing career, you know, where it got me today in business and in life. A lot of that I attribute to racing. And the Chamorro Land Trust can smile and say, we really did help, we're really helping our island. And go back to all the previous governors wanting to find a solution. The Chamorro Land Trust did find that solution and made it work. And although we are at an impasse, I know we can sit at this table and make it work. From the numbers to whatever points that come up, we can make it work. And I think, you know, that's something that the people would like to see. So I'll make a copy of this letter, and then I'll let Jeff comment a little bit more. Jeff, go ahead.
Yeah, I think that the Guam Race Federation was just hoping we can get back to the table. I know that in the past meeting, it said we had no more relationship between the Chamorro Land Trust and the Guam Racing Federation. But I think the lease, the cancellation of license was rescinded once before. So we're asking you to consider rescinding it again and going back to a month-to-month lease or a license until we can negotiate a long-term lease. And I think that the land trust still has the authority under the legislation to negotiate with GRF. I think, you know, that's still on the table. So I'd hate to see a whole RFP start, a process start, which we heard from today, we don't know how long that's going to take, when there's actually a solution already available to the Chamorro Land Trust on this property.
Well, Joey, when the last meeting we had, we said, your lawyer and our lawyers get together and hash it out.
Okay, we can set that up next week if you'd like. Sure.
To be clear, the commissioners have instructed me to work to get our attorneys to meet with the Guam Racing Federation.
And see what their concern is and your concerns are. so we can come to, because the law says the ground raceway is supposed to be.
Well, we can, I guess, yeah, we can meet and, I can meet with your, and just who's your attorney?
Randy Cunliffe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Madam Chair, if I may just reiterate what Mr. Sostumo was saying. Back in 1993, we had 620 acres that was reserved for the speedway because of lot 298. And that was in the south. And we understand about the value. We look at the map up here. And the map over here, that one with the green circle. Some may say that the property at lot 7161 was to no value to no one, but it's a multi-million-dollar property based on the hard coral that's situated underneath that ground. And even currently, we have a bill that's on the table for per diem to the quarry because of the material that's located in that circular map up there. So we may have different opinions of the value of the property. We may not be able to plant any bananas or taro, but the value of the coral right now is about, we can say wholesale at $3 a cubic yard. And we got multi-million dollars of a cubic yard under that property because the sea level to the top of the property was about 540 feet. And the master plan was to chop it down to 520 feet to configure the Grand Prix, the drag strip, the drift, and the motocross. So of course some of us don't see the value, but some of us see the value beneath the vegetation and the ground. And we have about 500 feet from the top where Smith Bridge and Hawaiian Rock all the way down to the sea level. And right now the demand for coral to finish the construction with the Department of Defense project at Camp Bluffs, Anderson and Naval Base is in high demand. And right now, at that position, you can say, yeah, the property value back in '98 was of no value. But some of us see the projection of the growth in Guam and in the region that we're in now with China, Korea, and Taiwan.
Yes.
So some say minus, no value, but to the others that see the value that are projecting the development of the commerce around Guam and the Department of Defense strategic plan, the value is tremendous.
Yes, and
It is tremendous.
to get it to where it's at now, Commissioner, is be about 15 million, the value of that property. There still needs to be some more grading done
Yes.
to get that drag strip and so forth, of which the previous agreement stated 50-50 on the sell of the rock. Again, we're up to negotiation on a new agreement. There could, that could be changed. Those numbers could be changed to get the future drag strip. There will need to be some more grading, cutting down, I think, another
About 45
40 feet
to get it down.
to get it down to where we want that, the NHRA certified drag strip. And that will have, there will be a lot of rock for sale then, available with that. To do the drags, moving further on to the Grand Prix, the road Grand Prix, again, there will be excess rock available, and we're at a good point now to make it work, and so that it's a win-win for the Chamorro Land Trust. The Chamorro Land Trust has received around $3.6 million from the Guam Racing Federation for the sale of the rock at 50-50, right? And so there's other things we can look at moving forward. Wouldn't you agree, Jeff, something like that?
Okay.
Yeah.
The Madam Chair was saying, with the FDN, it's not 50/50, it was 100% to the trust.
Uh-huh.
So as businessmen, if you choose the 50/50 contract or the 100% profit margin.
Well, the thing, yeah, you know,
So,
Commissioner,
we're
if we
being
can-
transparent here. We
Yes.
want to make
Yeah.
funds for that trust.
Exactly, and
Because
we're
we have,
willing to
we
negotiate
have
that.
about 8,000 constituents that are waiting for.
Yes.
And you know, most of our constituents are on the property there.
Yes, you need money to build the infrastructure to the home, to the properties for the land of landless, right?
So we're looking at FDN, you know,
Uh-huh.
our scope is there. I don't know, but we'll try to move it over to 7161.
But if you look at what 7161 is providing, other than just the dollar amount, I can't put a value on that, you
Yeah.
know, from the drag racing enthusiasts, especially them. They're out there every week, and, you know, it keeps them off the streets. You go to people's homes and they're in their garage, you can have 6 guys, you know, working on their truck, working on their car.
And you know, to add to that, they're up at Tank Farm, grading the red dirt.
Mhm.
I know the red dirt is down at the beach, so I see where you're going with this, so, you know, we want to grow the Chamber Land Trust.
We looked at the
Funds.
property too, also, Commissioner, that you brought up earlier in the south. That's in the Santa Rita area, Afro Heights area,
Right.
the 600 acres. That is a perfect property for motocross
Right.
and mountain biking and hiking. And we're gonna look at developing it for that. But that is not the answer for the drag racing or the Grand Prix. And you wouldn't be able to build a drag strip on that property that was deeded from Parks and Rec.
Correct.
Yeah, but a good point
Okay.
on that. Again, with where the race park is providing our island and our community, which was a concern back in the 70s. When we got the file from Henry and started going through everything.
The 800 pages?
Yeah, Eddie, you know, Senator Eddie Duenas in 96 or 97 went to Macau or Malaysia to a Grand Prix. Came back and said, man, Guam needs this Grand Prix. It's great for our people, the tourism. And I was asked by the previous chairman, on a side note, if we needed a Grand Prix.
Mm.
You know, could we take that Grand Prix course out? And I told him, you know, if you were looking forward, we want to keep that Grand Prix to be able to attract a whole new source of income, you know, and also a sport for the island. Formula racing has gotten really, really big. And if we can have a Formula 3 racetrack here as part of a circuit in Japan or Asia, it's gonna it'll bring a lot to our island.
Yeah, we did the configuration of the property of the 250 acres, and we configured that the drag, the drift, and the motocross was occupying basically about 44 acres. So that's another configuration that we can work on. And if the Grand Prix is not possible, then again, as the chairman was saying, Madam Chair, it's for our attorneys to sit down and because we have the oversight from the legislature, as you know, during the last legislative hearing, that some of the authorities not from our side also, that we have to confer with our legal counsel and the Guam legislature. That's some of the restrictions we have, so that's it, Madam Chair.
So what we would like to see, if possible, maybe if it takes legal, but, you know, looking at rescinding the eviction notice. You know, the CLTC announced it, right? Rescinded it once, and announced it again. It can be rescinded. It happens all the time, even after the date.
Yeah, and just to update on that, Madam Chair, we did that over the past vote, and the chairman of the Committee on Land was trying to get a confirmation if we have that full authority to do that. So, again, we have to get our legal counsels on the table so they can discuss the,
We could get a month to month, then at least we could get in there and do work and protect the assets. It wouldn't be a long-term commitment from CLTC, it would just be a short-term commitment, so that the Racing Federation and all the different organizations can get in there and protect the work that's already been done.
I agree, that's about $8 million or $7 million from the tax.
Of the tax, yes,
Right,
yeah.
so, I agree, we just have to get our consensus with our legal counsel, so.
Understood.
I think the thing that is in a direct issue right now is terms. Okay, so let's say we would like to slate clean, and I would like, for you to gain my vote, I would like to see a master plan, detailed master plan. I want to see a financial statement, and I want a feasibility study provided. And those are the three things. The master plan, a feasibility study, and and a financial statement for the Guam Raceway. Because since the get-go, there really wasn't anything provided to CLTC concerning those areas, except for not really a detailed master plan, but there was a plan that was submitted. And then, and if you can provide that, we can start talking terms. I'm speaking for myself, okay? I have one vote, so I'm speaking for myself. And tell me the value of a Grand Prix for the island and for participants. I mean, if I'm in the circuit in Japan, what would entice me to come here for a little teeny tiny Grand Prix? My costs are going to exceed what I would receive from participating. You understand where I'm coming from? Because I just saw an advertisement maybe a month ago where Japan had their Grand Prix. You know, I mean, we can't just depend on Japan, okay? The Grand Prix was born in Europe, and those are big purses for them over there. You know, what would entice someone from Europe to come here for a Grand Prix? Are we able to give them $1 million purse?
I think it would be Formula 3, not Formula 1, but Formula 3, so it's these drivers that are trying to get to Formula 1.
Mm-hmm.
And once they get on the circuit, then if Guam becomes part of the circuit, they can gain points. And so it's, and if you look at the formula, they fly all over the world for these
Oh, yes,
races.
they do, but they also get rewarded if they win.
Sure, it would have to be part of a circuit, you know, the purse would be something that the
So
organization.
that's what I'm looking at. What would the initiative be
All right, well,
Yeah, points from being part of a circuit,
Mhm.
yeah.
as compared to what you guys, the existing footprint is in existence now?
extra land, you mean, extra space. I don't know, what is the Formula 3, what is it?
I
Grand
didn't-
Prix track? Remember what was
As far as all that size.
See, if you can give us an enhanced master plan, like I said, then maybe we can sit down and start talking terms, but other than that, right now, a lot of water has passed under the bridge,
Sure.
and I don't know if we can reroute the river.
I think the
I think we
the
could.
legislation actually specifies that the negotiation is to include Guam Raceway Park, right?
Yeah, yes.
So I
It
think,
gave, back then, it gave the raceway first
First
right
right
of refusal.
Right.
Want to hear a
So-
comment?
Yeah, well, I just wanted, just to point out and just remind you that, you know, the commission is constrained by the laws that are out there that, you know, govern what you can do with this property. So I'm just, just want to make that clear. So, you know, you're saying, oh, we just, you know, let's hear your proposal, but you still have to.
Yes,
Have to follow the
I
rules.
hope it's understood that we can sit down, negotiate, and then go forward from there if we can meet.
And in the meantime, if we can move to a month-to-month so that we can start, taking care of the property again and keeping enthusiasts off the roads.
So the difference now is, you know, like you say, oh, before the eviction notice could be rescinded or moved out. Well, the thing is that now we're already past all of that, and the time for like the month to month was already terminated. So you can't extend something that's not existing anymore.
Well, I think a rescission was done previously. There's no reason why you can't rescind a decision that you made.
But the previous one was done within the timeline.
I think it was already, but it was already, the raceway was already evicted once. And then it was rescinded and given a 90-day lease, right?
Extension,
No, it was,
yeah.
it was 30 days, and then in order to accommodate the smoking wheels, we extended it. But it was not terminated, it was still in the timeline.
Something for the attorneys to talk about. We get out of our way.
But, you know, at least there's some sort of momentum.
Yes.
And to answer the commissioner's first question, but yeah, it is locked up. Guam Adventures is not doing any business there. No one's doing anything in there right now at this time.
After your last meeting, when Joey was here, then we reorganized GRF, and we heeded the comments of the CLTC, and we took action to accommodate and to try to protect the assets, but at the same time, lock it up and make sure there's no activities going on.
Yeah, and you know, in addition to that, right, the Smith Bridge was, you know, the last time we were there, we saw the tracks of Smith Bridge going on the back road, you know, that artery on the back. So that's another.
That's closed, though. They're not doing that anymore either.
Can we see the agreement between the Guam Raceway Park and Smith Bridge that allowed them to do that?
I haven't seen
I
it.
haven't seen that agreement.
We're still going through all the paperwork that we had to.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you guys were board members from the very beginning?
No.
Or who, because that's about 800 pages of
Yeah.
documentation. And when we went through it, we're saying, you know, it's amazing that it was 20 years of transaction.
Mhm.
And if the vice president and the treasurer and secretary didn't see that kind of documentation.
Right.
And it's a non-profit operation, so the question is that where's the profit? If we made 2.6 million or 3 million, then the federation made 2.3 or 3 million. So that's a revenue for the,
I don't know, but I think most of that went to the development of the track, from what I understand.
yeah, and that's what we were trying to reveal from the audit from the
Yeah, from
auditors.
equipment.
But thank you so much.
They're still updating the audit, right?
Mhm. Yeah, OPA is working on the audit. I don't think it's been finalized.
Okay,
yet.
one of the citations also that was issued to the Guam Raceway Park was from Department of Agriculture, because the raceway destroyed some limestone forest plants, like the fallen trees and stuff. And they were given just a very slight slap on the hand, and they were instructed to repair the area.
Plans, yeah.
Was that done?
Yes, it was done. And in fact, the Grand Prix court, a lot of that is preserved property, so we can't make the course go through it. So it'll give it a good visual effect during a race. You'll see you know, if you put a drone up there, you're gonna be able to see the ocean, the beauty of the ocean, and the greenery, all of that, because that's all been preserved. And there's areas here that are marked off, you know, not to touch.
Because we don't have any
Yeah.
documents showing that it was complied.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in addition to that damage, it was the shortcut that also was damaged, 50 foot by the quarter mile long.
And then also with Gita, there was supposed to be the overseers, but apparently they didn't get enough reports to justify the grant for the tax rate. And that was one of the citations also from the auditor.
Okay, there's a lot of things we're going through right now. So we're gonna be doing two things. One, we got the meeting backwards, and then but we can't, we've got to continue to keep looking forward and see how we can best work with CLTC and the property.
So maybe, Madam Chairman, as soon as the two legal counsels get
Yes.
together, and then we can fast track it for maybe next week,
Yeah, okay.
you know?
Mhm.
We still have 1 week to do public notification if we were gonna have another meeting. Or 2
You would
weeks.
just recess. And then
Yeah,
we'll
you have to
publish.
recess.
Okay.
You would recess if you
These are
adjourn.
the experts in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just a mechanic, so.
Just recess until whenever you want to do.
Like I said,
But
we're
that's
willing to
what
hear
my-
what you're willing to offer.
Okay, appreciate it.
But, you know, I can't make any promises. I'm only one vote.
Understood.
And then we really have to support each other.
Sure.
Wait, was there anything else, Commissioners?
Well, we wish everybody luck. It's 40 against Dodge.
What against Ferrari?
Be careful with Tesla, because the flag is around, and it does 6 seconds, I think, on the
Yeah.
cars, and it doesn't make noise.
That's right, quite.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those electric cars.
Anyhow, that previous assertion from, I guess, former Director Borman, it's just his opinion at that time.
Mhm.
There was no appraisal or any type of assessment done on the
Yeah,
property.
we understand. There is
And-
value.
And there is value.
I was
even
just
in the
reading
ditch.
I was just reading what was on the.
Yes,
license
I know.
agreement.
But we being on an island, land is very limited. So even if I have a ditch on my property, that still has value.
I think the value definitely is there, and it's been enhanced also because of the work that the Raceway has done.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Very-
Yeah, it's called improvements.
Yes,
Mhm.
Okay, Madam Chair, I guess.
Yeah,
thank you.
just
Thank you.
to make a note, we did receive the letter, so
Okay.
that's why we invited you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I just, if I could just really quick say something, thanks for your time again today, and thanks for considering this. In our case, we have 13 employees that really want to get back to work and servicing the tourists and also the local families that don't have to have their own equipment to come out and experience that. Oh, I'm sorry, Chris Nelson from Guam Adventures. So if it's allowable, or if it's possible, under Guam Racing Federation, we would, I know RFPs can take a long time, up to a year sometimes but in the meantime, if we're allowed to protect the property and pay rent in that time frame, while maybe the RFP is being prepared or going on, if Guam
Or on the
Racing
month to month, or on
Federation.
the month to month.
Yes,
Yeah.
like, with a 30-day termination clause or something, but the money would go to CHamoru Land Trust. Well, if the RFP takes a year, that's protection of the property and also some income that, otherwise, we look at the property being damaged and then no income at all. Or maybe some expense if you have to hire security or things like this to take care of the property, so, thank you for
And how many units do you have? And how many quad runners, right, is what you're running?
The one-wheelers, yeah.
How many units?
We have, it's always a moving number. because
Generally,
Some are up
average
or
about
down.
5, 10.
We have about, between 10 and 15.
I see. And the tour goes all the way over to the cliff line, the 500 feet cliff line overview.
Yeah, we just do a one-way kind of loop
I see.
around the property, and we specialize in small groups, so it's usually 4 or 5 vehicles with a leader in front and then a follower in the back, so people are not going independently. It's always
Like,
in a group, so. When I look back at the minutes from 2013 when we came in front of the board, and all the questions and the plans and everything, all of that in the 10 years that we've been there, we have, all those things we've done what we said we were going to do at the time, and we've worked really hard at it, and we've got a really good safety record. No insurance claims in the 10 years, which, so our team really focuses on safety, so.
So perhaps you may want to make an application directly. You see that lot 289, the 620 acres at Akron, and perhaps you may be able to use a part of that because your operation is not a drag or a trip. It's basically it's almost like a trail tour. And the configuration over at that location at Cross Island, your view basically is either Finna Lake or Rocky Point. You know what I'm saying, right, sir? So that's 620 acres at lot 289. You may want to maybe directly work and submit a application to make a proposal on your own if you would like. Because right now you're under the sub-lessee.
Right.
With
With the racing
right,
federation.
yeah.
Right.
It's not to take away business from the group, but in the meantime, a backup for the second backup.
See, if we were to consider your proposal, we all know ballgame, because that's going to go through a longer process than if we were to negotiate with the Guam Raceway.
No, we want to be under Guam.
But if they don't have a lease or a license right
So we'll have our legal meet and then try and speed up the meeting.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you.
Great meeting. Have a good day. Thank you.
We'll go into new business now.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Under new business, our first item for information and discussion with the commissioners is the Guam International Country Club. So I believe it was on August, in our previous meeting, the representatives of the Guam International Country Club came to the table and were discussing the solar farm proposal. And I was instructed to meet with them. We met, I believe it was August 10th, just sometime last week. I met with Mr. Yohei Koki, Mr. Tang, Secretary, and their consultant, Mr. Carlos Camacho. They provided, in your packets, we have it's a presentation on the solar farm, right? Their proposal for a solar farm. At our meeting, I asked point blank specifically what it is that they needed from the CLTC. And they are seeking CLTC's support to turn the current municipal golf course into a solar farm. Right.
Complete the whole thing?
The area, yes, is a solar farm. Part of their presentation indicated that it would be ideal in that it is already, it has connections, direct connections to GPA's lines, if I'm not mistaken, right? So they provided, in the presentation, they provided pictures, an idea with regard to how it is that the CLTC will be able to manage and or make money by creating an endowment fund, a corpus, et cetera, moving forward. CLTC will draw down from that for whatever it needs. In short, that's the proposal. So, this is here for discussion. The representatives from GICC are here should you have any specific questions.
I don't know if our mandate will allow us to make this big transition from a municipality, a municipal golf course to a solar farm.
So the municipal, you are correct, Commissioner Garrido, the municipal golf course was created through legislation. And if I recall correctly at our meeting, the GICC team has gone before the legislature, some members of the legislature, and they are discussing this. And they were told to come to the CLTC to seek our support for this project. So should something need to be changed, potentially it would have to go through legislation. Right? So the initial for them is to meet with CLTC and get support for this project. I think it's a huge decision for the commissioners.
Yes, it is.
It's here for information. If you'd like, we can, I'll do my best to answer any questions that you may have, but you may need a little bit of time to absorb it and potentially meet with we can set up a meeting so they can they can present it to you if you had
That
any
sounds good.
questions. Right?
That sounds good.
We have representatives here, we may, Madam Chair, if you would like.
I leave it to the commissioners.
Can we have Mr.
You
Come
okay,
up to the-
Mr. Camacho?
come up to the table?
So please state your name and the company and or your affiliation with the Guam International Country Club and this project.
My name is Yohei Koike from Guam International Country Club as a general manager.
I'm Carl Camacho, I'm their financial consultant.
May I start? I just want to explain about the background and key points of this proposal. You may have read this, and then maybe we can go, if you'd like more specific information. We'll try our best to answer.
Commissioners, may I ask, in the interest of time, because our legal counsel does need to leave for a meeting with the EPA,
The
that we keep,
presentation should be in a different time for that.
if there's a specific question that they need to be prepared for, then we can present it.
Yeah.
Based on my meetings with them, this is going to require the commissioners to review and get your questions down because it is very lengthy. And even just going through the numbers and asking questions of them, it was quite daunting, right? They can just quickly state why and this project, and then we will set up maybe a briefing.
The effects of Typhoon Meira have further compounded our challenges. We are currently facing financial difficulties as well as operational obstacles. Our payment obligations to CLTC. Our intention is to repurpose the lot for a purpose that can contribute positively to our community and the environment. Simultaneously, we believe that this endeavor to repurpose our lot for a solar farm and establish an endowment fund for CLTC. Key point, One, GICC will make all future rent payments in advance using the net present value calculation method to be determined by COTC's designated economist or specialist. The NPV, net value calculation, net present value, calculation method is widely used in various investment scenarios, including endowment fund operations. Using this method, we anticipate an upfront payment ranging from a minimum of $7 million to $9 million, which will serve as your endowment fund. Two, the dividend generated from the operation of the endowment fund will yield significantly higher income compared to the existing rent. This is increased income can empower CLTC to better serve the community's needs and optimize land usage. Three, CLTC will retain the principal amount as its capital fund. Four, we understand the critical needs for current funding, so we will continue to pay the rent due from the lease until the endowment fund is funded in full. This will make CLTC a perpetual additional source of funding. Five, a solar farm is widely recognized as environmental friendly, and given our location, farm would significantly mitigate environmental risk compared to the operation of golf course. In conclusion, we firmly believe that implementing this proposal can bring about a truly transformative contribution by securing CLTC's future funding while simultaneously safeguarding our environment for the well-being of all of Guam's residents. We eagerly anticipate collaboration with you, our community and island leaders, as well as the Guam Power Authority to realize this vital objects. Our commitment to pursuing this opportunity is resolute, and we earnestly seek the support of CLTC board members. Thank you very much.
How many years are you anticipating?
If you look at our presentation, we're just adding an additional 17 so we can have the
Additional what?
17 years from the existing lease.
And when does the existing lease expire?
January 2039.
39. And of course, subject to legislative approval, because you need to go to the legislature for that.
Mhm.
So they got 15 members that have to make a decision.
And what about the zoning?
Well, that's a whole process. After you get the site control for the solar farm, you still gotta go to the land use commission to get approval.
So,
And zoning, solar farms, the two that we put here as example, which is down in Rohan and in Marble, those are agricultural zone.
I know they're agricultural, but that doesn't mean it's
No.
not done correctly.
Yeah, well, we will submit and land use commission would have to bless it or whatever, but there's already two large case studies using agricultural lots. Where we, again, this would be in a different presentation because it's time, but why we think the diversification is great was in 2022, the Biden administration passed the Inflation Reduction Act that increased the tax credit. As you guys know, I've done a lot of tax credit deals in Guam, from 22% to 60%. So that helps it very financially feasible so that we can have lower solar energy costs.
And is this going to be a public-private co-share ownership?
No, well, if we sell the tax credits, which under the Inflation Reduction Act, our investors are going to be, they have to own the assets.
When I talk about public-private ownership, how much are you going to sell the power to GPA? Or how much are you anticipating to sell power to GPA?
Well, we have to run a number.
And is there going to be a minimum buy-in Meaning, if you're saying you can do 60-some
Megawatts.
megawatts, right? What if GPA doesn't need the 60 megawatts?
Well, based on published newspaper article, their next cycle is over 180 megawatts of need. So that's when we, from the previous meetings we had, we looked at the infrastructure around the area. One, we looked at the tie grid, which was 50 feet away from the lot. So competitively, we think, unlike the other two that was done, they spend millions of dollars off-site for the infrastructure. So we think by those two variables, our cost of goods will go down, and I think our partners here won't invest that much if they don't think it will make it work competitively.
And when is this bid supposed to open
That we don't know. We just try, we have to prepare
from
for it.
GPA?
We don't know that. We just know that they published, they've been talking about it, they've been going to the legislature, they've been saying the third phase of their renewable energy is this, and we just have to look, and when the RFP comes out, we'll get ready for it. But you're right, you have to be competitive, and we're trying to be competitive with the two description of what we talked about.
And I guess I'm thinking more on the electrical side. There's going to have to be enhancement to the infrastructure.
That
Now,
capacity.
The grid may be 50 feet away, but is the hardware capable? of
Well, that's the
handling-
investment they're gonna do to bring it from the solar farm to the grid, whatever the electrical infrastructure is. Unlike
So when you
Marble
say-
and
When you say to
Dandan,
the grid, you mean to the substation?
that's what it is. If you look at Marble and Dandan, when they went off-site in the rights of way, they spend millions of dollars cutting the utilities
To interconnect?
to connect to the next substation.
The Dundan? I
Dandan's
don't know
similar.
about the Marble, but the Dundan was, citizen plant is maybe another,
And the other thing that we think we got is the properties already, the topography is not as the others.
basically flat.
It's flat, yeah. And then we're not worried about clearing and grading and impacting fish and wildlife.
You would enhance if you
Yeah.
win the bid.
Yeah. So they're gonna continue to keep paying that until that time when they fully sell the energy.
It's just questions I had.
No problem. There will be no gap. There'll be just until the trigger of the, yeah.
But we thank you about it, so.
We could maybe have a working session. I'll work with the commissioners on that. We'll go through the presentations, compile our questions, and if that's okay.
Of some of the case studies they've done for Consumption Finance Commission and their investments.
Well, you might want to reach out also to GPA for their planning engineers to join in that working session, because we don't know what their expectations are either, and I don't know if you guys
Actually,
really know.
I'm just being, no, if you don't mind, for all due respect, we try not to invite the GP because we don't know, we don't want to encourage them that this is what, we're going to wait till the bid comes out and we are going to sharpen our pencil.
Did they put out a request already?
No, other than they've been saying their next third phase is 180 megawatts. But we don't want to tell them this is what we're doing because we don't want to change, put their thoughts to say, hey, it's not bad.
And what is GPA producing now, about one?
The two, it's there, this is a public record. The two that they got is Dandan and,
But these numbers you have, does that include the new generators that they're putting up in NCS?
the Okudu? No, this is just the renewable solar 2050 master plan they got. That's in their master plan. But then the corpus gets funded.
So the 180 megawatts is the projected,
We can do a phase two, we just don't know that.
do we know the total production that they're producing?
Yes, it's here. Marble is producing
Include Marble and the Cabot plants, and
25 MW for Dandan and 60 MW for Marble at the KEPCO. But that's separate from the 180 that they'll be seeking,
this is with the solar.
the solar.
So the internal combustion is not included in this one?
No. Not the Okudu plant, no.
Yeah, about the one in Cabras?
No.
And Cabras?
This is what they're putting to get away from the,
The internal
what's it,
combustion.
the oil or they're trying to get away from the oil. Or trying to reduce the oil expenditure. for carbon footprint.
Also feel.
Only fossil fuel, yeah.
Madam Chair, I think legal counsel had a comment.
Well, I mean, I just wanted to remind you guys that the whole reason that these guys are on the property is because they were running a municipal golf course
Yes.
and providing that type of a service to the community, and that's why that's why the rent is what it is, and that's why they're on the property. So I just wanted to make sure that was
That's
clear.
assumption.
Yeah.
That's why I'm asking about the zone, right, because it has to concur with the zone.
Because anything we do right has to go through the legislature.
Yeah.
So this is just a preliminary.
Right, but even, I mean, as far as like, competing for the right to use this property as a solar farm. I mean, I just want to put it out there,
Okay.
that the only reason that they're on the property is because of, because they were.
Yes, that was their original Kristen.
Okay.
I have no more questions.
Okay, Madam Chair.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Next is cocoa recycling.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So as part of your packet, you have the letter from the law offices of Cunliffe and Cook, right, in reference to the cocoa recycling and their proposal with regard to leasing. I believe this is the Guerrero site, often referred to as Global. Right? Global recycling, yeah. Where Global's located, the transfer station in Guerrero, that area. Right? So that's where Global is right now.
Right next to the golf
Oh,
course.
okay. Right, yeah, a little before, as soon as we
We
enter.
have two. We're doing cocoa.
Yeah, so Coco, right, Mr. Benny Bello, right? This was prior to me, I believe, had some agreement with CLTC for a portion of land up in Vergara Heights, right?
Yeah.
So they're writing, and there are other issues that have arisen, and so the attorneys have written,
Yeah.
requesting for us to discuss and come up with some agreement with Mr. Bello to cure the debt, if I'm not mistaken, that is alleged that we owe them. Now I say alleged because I'm not sure if we owe them a debt. What has happened since this letter has come to our attention is GICC, is I'm having them compile all of this information, board meetings, discussions. I think right now we're at half a binder that is not ready for commissioners' review, but you needed to be made aware of this letter received by, as I understand that they want to meet with us and come up with some sort of agreement. So this is for your information. If you have any questions, I understand their attorney and Mr. Bello Benedetti is here. We also have legal counsel. So I don't know that we want to discuss anything with them at this point in time. I'll leave that to legal. Or if you have questions.
I think we need more background information before we can move forward or backwards or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so I believe the information that's being compiled should be able to clarify that.
Yeah. That's what.
I believe Mr. Cook wants to.
Just very brief, very brief.
I leave it to the commissioners?
Just basically join in what Mr. Tyro said. Jeremy. Just very briefly. I'm Jeff Cook, coming from Cook. I represent Koku. And I agree, the last correspondence I got was that it was going to legal counsel, and I guess the only thing I would ask, we'd like to try to answer those. So that would be our request. So we could try to put this to sleep. And I won't get into the fact, we're pretty strongly, it's not an alleged debt. It's been, CLTC has approved it, it seems like 4 or 5 times.
Next is the global recycling.
Let's focus on global.
So for your information and a little bit of background, I'm hoping we'll be able to clarify things for the information for the commissioners. The most recent commercial lease agreement dated February 1, 2020. So that was not signed by Global. It's the parties involved, right? So nothing has been made, no contract between Global and CLTC. What follows the February 21 proposed commercial lease agreement are minutes from previous board meetings, commission meetings, right? That provide some information with regard to the discussions that potentially led up to this proposed unsigned lease agreement or license. And I believe prior to these discussions, the only thing that we have found that has given Global authority or permission to remain there and operate is a letter, an authorization to occupy letter from a previous director, I believe, so that's in your packet as well. That's the only thing we have been able to find that gives Global authority to be there. It is now with CLT commissioners to determine how.
I did go out there, I had an on-site visit, and the one thing that like caught my eye and my concern was, as you enter the gate towards the left, there's this structure, and in that area it houses power transformers. And when I was there, it was a little bit rainy, so there was like water in the ground, and I was seeing a sheen on that water, and that indicates to me that those transformers are leaking oil into the property, and that's adjacent to the golf course. I don't know if they're up to par with EPA standards. I really don't know, but it's a big area that they're occupying, and they have a lot of stuff on the side.
Thank you, Commissioner Garrido. One of with regard to global recycling, like I said, this is brought to our attention. Our commissioners are asking questions about it. One of the things that we're trying to do is ensure that we have documents and that we don't enter per se illegally. We need, for me, and working with legal counsels, I need to ensure that we're not imposing ourselves. I need to make sure
No,
that
we made
right.
our presence known that we were there for a site visit, and it was with their concurrence. We didn't just go in and.
Oh, no question with regard to that, but with regard to any actions to be taken, that is concerning to hear that there's a structure that has transformers and potential liquid
Yes,
around it.
I know GPA is moving out of using PCB as part of their transformer coolants, but whatever the case is, oil on the ground is still not a good idea.
So is there something, anything that for me in my mind, I would like to get legal guidance again with regard to how does we can proceed with global recycling?
And just to add on to what I was saying, the water lens is very close to the surface there, and if you have oil, it's going to seep down into the lens. Which will contaminate the northern aquifer.
Yes.
Director Tyron, on the first page, on that attachment, that letter from Exhibit C,
Yes,
there's a February 1st, 2021.
yes, sir.
So this letter apparently is addressed to Global, Mr. Chu. So if I may ask legal counsel to kind of interpret just what this letter is saying
Which one?
from Exhibit C, the first.
February 1, 2021.
So what's your question?
So this one is,
Was agreed that they could, have that timeframe to decide on, what was proposed, but it looks like nothing was ever finalized.
so I guess our interest here is that, so are they occupying the property within the parameters of the CHamoru Land Trust rules and regulations? That's my question for legal to, to interpret, because
They've been occupying the property, based on this, this authorization that they got most recently back in 20. Well, I mean, they have the, it's just this authorization. The commission back in 2015 said, go ahead and continue to be there.
Okay, August, September, and he mentioned the balance here, that what Attorney Cook was saying, that he had about $5.6 million in balance for the property next to the tax and revenue, and he wanted to occupy the property down at was 7.5 million, and some documentations were showing that the rental for the property next to tax and revenue was being deducted from that 7 million, and it went down to 5.62 million. And what Mr. Benibello was requesting was find out, because I was asking Mr. Bello that if Global is there operating now, and then he was going to take over, and what kind of transition is it's going between June and November when he came by. But just to verify, I'm not sure if the attorney has that information, but that's what I recall. And again, you can refer back to the recording. I believe you were here, Madam Chair, when Benibello approached us.
But I don't remember about Guam Recycling.
Yeah.
I mean, him, Global Recycling.
Right, yeah. Global was not here, it was just Mr. Bello. So I know that I did review back in 2022 between June and July a 96-page documentation, a transaction between Benibello and Coco and CHamoru Land Trust. And at that time I requested for the justification that if in fact that $7 million worth of metal was removed from that property, that I was requesting for the bill of lading to show and verify that that amount of material was loaded. So files, those documents would be it's someplace in the file, because I did remember seeing bill of lading and transshipment of metals that were loaded. That's my, and what Mr. Guerrillo was saying, that when we did visit the site, we know that there's vehicles and heavy equipment that are being disassembled, and the engine, the transmission, and differential oils are, being drained. Most likely they're being stored in the trolleys. But what Mr. Guerrillo was saying, or Commissioner Guerrillo was saying, is that we saw transformers that have been cut open and we have pictures of that. And again, the topography of that property is from that Route Bello Road into the golf course. It's a sloping topography, maybe 5 or 10 degrees sloping down to the golf course. So that's in Manager.
What, was there anyone there when you guys left?
We asked for permission from,
No, but was there anyone?
Was there a tour guide?
No, I mean, people
There was
working
no-
there.
oh, yes, it's active. There are about maybe 11 20-footer containers being
Loaded up?
loaded. But since last year, when I first came in April or May, they've been doing that operation for.
Did you ask whether who's operating it?
I met with the office, I guess it's Mr. Chu at that time, so he allowed us to go ahead and go on. So the operation is really, it's very busy. They disassemble tractor trailer, chassis, cement trucks, automotive vehicles, heavy duty anchors for different types of packing, and they'll bail and insert it into 20-footers or 40-footers. That was last year, so that's it, Madam Chair. That was my question, is that what's the legal authority of their occupancy, and what is the chance of our liability?
Well, we have to see who's operating it.
Yeah, because this thing's been, I think this is a 20-year occupancy here between Coco, Globo, and there was another bathing company,
So in our research thus far, and then I've instructed Joey to ensure that we're going through everything, that we're not missing anything, and that we organize these files, take a look at them to identify if in fact there was any agreement between Global Recycling and CLTC
Or global and any other entity.
or any other entity. Because my concern is the liability as a landlord. And of course, before we take any action, we need to ensure that if there was an agreement, what stipulated in the agreement? And if there was no agreement, what is the next best course of action? And that would come from our legal counsel.
so.
So I will work with legal counsel on that, Commissioner. Thank you, Commissioner.
The financial report is next.
Financial report, this is submitted pursuant to law to our governor and the speaker of the legislature. And this is basically just a monthly revenue collection report. It's fairly straightforward. And this is for the, commissioners had any questions?
Madam Chair, on the page 1, this financial report. Let's see as we go down. This account number 3624. This is as of July.
Yes.
Account number 3624, CLTC operations.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Herrera,
Oh,
3624?
yeah, that's
The
page
first
1.
item,
Oh, okay.
CLTC operation.
Okay, yes.
And then the divided here.
Property taxes, so that's interest collected off of the current investment in that account, the current balance in that account.
And just for information, how much was invested in that? But that's the profit, is 288 is what was earned?
Yes, just interest. It's a cumulative. And the sheet in the back, Commissioner Herrera,
Yeah,
the longer sheet, if you go down to payment in lieu of real property taxes,
3669
yeah,
in lieu of property.
the loan guarantee fund, yes.
So this 13924.71. That's revenue collected.
Yes, sir, for July. Account 3415, that's our COTC loan guarantee.
Can you
account.
expound on
Revenue
that?
account.
Yeah, can you please expound on that? What is the loan guarantee and who's it for and where does it come
Okay.
from?
As a matter of fact, under my agency report, I do have a few more numbers and information created by law. And monies collected via the taxes, potential and interest would be paid into that fund to be used by
Including veterans, VA,
So
Guam
with,
housing?
so with the veterans, what we have is we don't need to guarantee because there's an agreement between the Veterans Office and CLTC. And what's happened is, and in my report, it shows that we have restricted $500,000 pursuant to this agreement with Veterans Affairs
Okay,
so then that way we don't have to provide a loan guarantee for veterans loans.
understand. And you mentioned SBA.
SBA, Guam Housing are the two entities that we have, at least for having been here, I've not seen any other requests for loan guarantees outside of SBA and Guam Housing Corporation.
So
Right.
just for the record, to be clear, so we can guarantee loans from the SBA,
For SBA.
for SBA?
We
We
can,
can.
yes.
And can
Can we?
we? Do we have?
No.
How much do we have? Just for the record.
We have in the account 1.2 million, however,
So which spreadsheet? Which?
it's on,
spreadsheet?
it's basically, we just took the accounts that we had and we laid it out for the commissioners.
CLP's total loan guarantee total
Today,
for
we
October,
have,
November,
today we have 152.
right? 152,000 on hand or in account?
Year to date,
What we earn, and this is just for July, Commissioner.
Okay, just for July, 152,000?
Yeah. Is the earnings, what we've collected, the revenue.
So just so that I can understand. So can we increase the earnings or can we increase this loan guarantee account from the legislature to, for us to request from the legislature to allow us more, at least 5 or 10 million, to accommodate those that are in serious disaster needs that have been approved by SBA? Because I've been.
We can request, the amounts that come into that loan guarantee fund is through various like interest, taxes, right? And that's how that account grows.
I'm just
trying to
asking a
recall.
practical question.
I
How-
guess,
how
no,
do
I'm
we
trying to
load-
recall if there's anything
How
else.
do we
that-
load this up to accommodate our SBA?
Then that would have to come from the legislature
Okay,
to appropriate into the home loan guarantee fund.
okay. So we need to contact Madam Chair via Committee on Land or Committee on Finance?
We would have to contact our oversight chairperson, the speaker, and also the chairperson on the finance and budget, which is Senator Sinowski.
Okay. So I'd like to officially request Madam Chair if we can start expediting that process. Because I know if it's going to go through the legislature, it's going to take us, we have to have public hearing probably. Are they going to have to develop a bill then to create, or is it just to, I'm not sure.
We're going through the appropriation process right now, so it depends on what they decide on the floor, they can do that.
Have we completed our budget hearing?
I don't think we're going to have a budget hearing. We've met with the Finance and Budget Committee prior to Malmark, but because of everything that's been happening, I think they're just concentrating on focusing on the larger agencies, right? We did get a cut in our budget, a little over 300,000, I think it was. But I don't think we're going to have a budget hearing. That's the last I heard. So we can write and ask for an appropriation into
And here's why, Madam Chair, if I may add. We have a lot of SBA applicants, and it appears that we don't have the funds. So I'm just trying to see how do we accelerate this to accommodate the folks that are leasing CHamoru Land Trust properties that are under the category of serious disaster needs. Because the timeline is 6 months when you get approved for an SBA loan. We have 6 months before the loan expires. And if our constituents are living under substandard condition, then I believe we may have to put this in the fast track lane to accelerate, because 6 months it's very short.
Who have already gone through the loan process and is suspending our authorization.
So, shall we conclude financial report?
Oh, we're,
And then we'll move on to agency report because it has information regarding the loan guarantee. Is that okay,
Yeah.
Madam Chair? Okay.
And I was just going to show you that.
Yeah. Under agency report, so we also made available just a little bit of what's in the law that authorizes the commissioners, right, to make this decision. This decision with regard to guaranteeing a loan is not within my authority as the administrative director. It has to be brought before the commissioners. It is the commissioners to make that decision. So in your packet, I'll skip all the other ones in just total, and this is something that the commissioners need to be aware of. 16,156,843.27 million in original loans provided by SBA and Guam Housing Corporation. That amount has decreased as of September 30th, 2022 to $10.4 million due to payments on the loan. So working with Joey, I asked him to look through the ledger, right? Given the request, the amounts that SBA may have approved or that they've agreed to pay. And I've not included their names for the commissioners. I've just included the lot description so that you're all aware, and then the amounts. Now, CLTC. The GASB 33, and there's information there that it's payments of real property from FY 2022 collected between paper. That's less 500,000 that hasn't been remitted or received from the general fund. And then we have the restriction of $500,000. Guarantee has exceeded its legal authority. We are at 2,663% over what we should have been guaranteeing.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
It concerns what you just read.
Okay.
Why are we guaranteeing the veterans? They have the VA loan.
There's no guarantee per se. What it is we've had to well, I guess it is a guarantee because we have to restrict $500,000 in the event that they don't pay back, right? CLTC has to absorb that cost. I believe a big part of that is because this is leasehold. The property is leasehold. They don't own the property, they own the house on the property, right? So leasehold has, restrictions. And given that the loan guarantees in the event that they default, we take it up, we pay for it, we own it, and then at that point in time, our process is find the next available person to take over. So the agreement, and I can't recall when the agreement was made with the VA, but in order for CLTC lessee, who is a VA,
And that's why I'm a little bit, VA loan is at 4. So they charge 1% higher than a regular home loan.
I can pull up the agreement and make it available for further review from the commissioners.
Well, you see what I'm saying? And they
Yes.
guarantee the loan already. Why are we having to guarantee it again?
Maybe because
Maybe because
we're
of
the
the
property,
leasehold. Maybe because of
we're
the
the
leasehold.
property owners, they only own the home. So individuals, you can own the home, but you never own the property, it belongs to the CHamoru Land Trust.
Madam Chair, the priority right now, right, we have 6 from SBA.
Well, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 from SBA who have submitted their documents, and please, so that the commissioners are aware.
Okay,
Because the
there's no
commissioners,
VA.
and I have to say this, Commissioner Herrera, is these requests came in after our July meeting.
Okay, understand.
CLTC is not sitting on anything. CLTC is not giving participants the runaround. They have been informed that it is within the authority of the commissioners to make this decision, not us. And so the names are not being presented, the amounts are being presented, and the lot descriptions, right? So 4 have submitted SBA documents. In the sheet, you'll see real estate repair replacement. So you have the total amount that's being, that was approved by SBA. Let's take a look at the first example. Request came in on July 17th. It's an SBA loan type. We have 4 SBA and 1 Guam housing. Okay. So the real estate, the total amount on the SBA document is $240,000. However, that amount is broken down to real estate repair and replacement, disaster cleanup and debris removal, personal property, and these are all descriptions on the SBA document, and then other expenses. So CLTC, if they were to guarantee or could guarantee, we would only guarantee the real estate repair replacement. So for the first one, we could only guarantee $192,100. Second one, $189,000, etc. We would not guarantee. I would be very concerned if we guaranteed the entire amount, and we're guaranteeing the disaster cleanup, the personal property, and other expenses. I think if there's to be a guarantee to be made, it would be only on the real estate repair and replacement of the home, or rebuilding of that home. So it's broken down here.
Not a new construction for a home,
I'm sorry?
to construct a new home.
If that's what is stated on their SBA agreement, to construct a home, if the construction costs $400,000 and it's for construction.
SBA's maximum is 200.
Okay, so if the construction is $200,000 and that's all it's going to be used for, then the loan guarantee could be for construction, right? But not for personal property.
Understand.
Yeah.
So for us to
guarantee these loan requests.
and we don't have the money, right?
We do not have the money.
So Madam Chair, my request is to start getting the process to get the money from the legislature. We need to go through the legislature or other avenues. And do we need to make a motion to approve, to get SBA loans approved today? Or it's already in place, right? According to what I'm hearing?
What's in place?
The SBA loan guarantee.
No.
It's not in place.
SBA has indicated to these lessees or people, CHamoru Land Trust lessees, to get as part of their requirement, whether it's SBA or Guam Housing
Yeah, we'll just
Corporation.
stick with SBA. Go ahead.
But if you're going, why would we not guarantee Guam
Okay, so
Housing?
with Guam Housing,
Yeah, so Guam Housing and SBA would be one thing. You would move to approve these amounts as stated by SBA and or Guam Housing for the construction, repair, or replacement of the home, the individual's home, right? So it would be through a motion to approve it. However, maybe legal counsel can weigh in on this, is in the law, it states that we cannot, the commissioners cannot approve beyond what it is we're able to pay. And we cannot pay these amounts.
and we cannot pay because we don't have the funds.
Because we don't have the,
The serious disaster needs. And this is a federal program, the SBA program is a federal program to help those individuals. So if these individuals are staying on land trust property, I think it's our obligation also to provide these individuals the source to get and build their homes under the federal program. Because Guam Housing is doing it.
CHamoru Land Trust to guarantee the loan.
so I actually have been putting a call into SBA and trying to meet with them to find out exactly why they would need CHamoru Land Trust to guarantee. Why couldn't the home be collateralized? Why couldn't they use the home as collateral and their guarantee?
Good point. Yeah.
We don't have to. Why are they requesting for it?
The person to borrow,
Mhm.
are they going to secure or mortgage my property?
My understanding
Do they,
is
do they?
if it's over $25,000, then you would have to put up collateral for SBA to secure and guarantee that loan. Right?
So I had an SBA approved loan back
Yeah.
in, after Canada, but it was on a private property, so the lien was the title of the property. After it was paid, it was covered. So if we parallel a private property or a property on land trust, of course, they want to have them secure, not only the land, the home, but where the home is situated, and if it's on lot 1, then that lot 1 would be held as a collateral. So, but you know, because of this is a disaster program, this is not to go to the drug strip and brace. This is a need. It's a need.
So,
Couldn't the guarantee be based on the term of your remaining lease? And the other question I have is, I know that CLTC owns the title, the fee simple to the property, SBA for their loan guarantees because they sell it out in the market, okay? Like if you have a mortgage,
they can't, I mean, because it's not even, like with a private lease, if you have this, kind of long-term lease, they might be able to step in, but because there's, there's all these rules on how you can transfer a lease, and, you can't, they wouldn't be able to just come in and foreclose on the property. So that, I'm just saying, I think that's what at least not in the usual way, and I think that's what the problem is, and that's why they would want CHamoru Land Trust to.
don't we already have an agreement in place, such as what you're saying with Guam Housing?
Right.
Where if they foreclose on the building itself.
Yeah. But,
Can we propose to SBA that they adopt that? Because this is a typhoon emergency.
See, that's the template we want to use, right? This is the Guam housing template.
So
and
the
And then
problem.
do we actually have to have that money in a trust that we locked up?
So actually, that's what the problem is that then the law says, you can guarantee these loans up to a certain amount. And
To a certain
what I'm
amount.
hearing is you're past that amount that you can guarantee, and so, so that's where your issue is, not that you not that you wouldn't, but that you don't have the
Fundings.
yeah. You don't have
Right, so what we're saying
bank
is
account
to
do it.
load the fundings or increase the fundings. And if the fundings is only 3 million or 2 million, then we'll up the fundings. Because we have like 3,000 occupants on CHamoru Land Trust that are living on land trust properties now. And then how many do we have that have, out of that 3,000, how many have been approved with the SBA?
so
And-
far only
and-
6 or 4.
Yeah, so far,
We've
right,
received.
right, so
Yeah.
far.
And one more
And they're
month.
still processing now, because remember, you have to go through the FEMA process. And if FEMA denies you, you guys were in the meeting with FEMA and SBA. So the methodology of the process is that you go through FEMA for grant, and if you can qualify for a small business administration and you qualify for the mortgage, then you get a mortgage. But if the mortgage is on a land trust property or a private property, it changes the configuration of the contract. So what we're saying is that, are we done with the process of the serious disaster needs? No, we're still being processed. Inspectors are still going out, verifying, validating FEMA recipients that have applied.
It's still a work in progress.
And yes, so what I'm saying is that we have to consider, we have 3,000 lessees on land trust, 3. Of the 3, do we have, I'm not pointing a finger that you guys are holding the scale down. I'm just saying this is a moving operation. It's growing because the process to
The
address the serious
evaluations are
disaster
still
needs is
ongoing
not
with
done.
the
So
FEMA.
do I need to make a motion to make this legal, or is it already in place?
Is what in place?
The SBA guarantee and the Guam housing guarantee.
No, the commissioners need to
So-
motion.
So we haven't guaranteed any Guam housing yet, from
We-
the past since we were born in 1995.
No,
Numbers like 100, 120.
120,
So 120 under the Guam housing guarantee
and SBA.
and SBA, so we've done it.
Yes, we have.
So let's follow that template and get the process going, because it's already in place, right?
Okay.
So do
Mr.
we need to make a new motion because it's been in
So I just
place?
need to clarify.
Please,
You are instructing me
no, I'm
to-
asking the chair.
No, no, no.
Yeah.
First of all, to officially request for additional appropriations for a home loan guarantee
Yes,
fund.
because your report is that we don't have enough
We don't have
in the
money,
bucket.
correct,
Right.
right.
So how
So
do we
I
fill
just
the
want to be
bucket?
clear. So
Yes.
I am going to request from the legislature funding for our home loan guarantee.
Correct.
Right. And we will request for whatever amount is presented here, that is needed for those who have presented their documents and then,
Stretching under the 50% because we don't know, right?
correct,
Remember,
justified. But I will work on that. I will write to the legislature now.
please,
Now.
Do we, I go back to my earlier question, do we need to have that money locked up in a trust? Our guarantee, or do we just need working capital for it? Because not everybody is going to default at the same
the
time.
finance
No.
committee would.
We just need the money in the bank to be able to guarantee
Yeah,
that
but
should.
how much money are we thinking?
That's what I was asking is,
Right, maybe we can put it in the media, you know, 1, 2, or 3 times that those that are living on land trust properties, and if you have any issues with FEMA or SBA, or if you have an approved loan, please visit the office or call.
I don't know, but when you're guaranteeing something, the customer does not pay SBA. That's government land that Guam Housing actually would own under them. And they
I'll do that. Now, before you make your motion, Mr. Herrera and commissioners, please, I'm just going to state for the record, that the CHamoru land, and I understand that
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
we don't have any money to pay, we don't have $10 million, $10.4 million to pay the guarantee. The CHamoru Land Trust Commission is 2,663% over what it is able to pay. 2,663, I'm just saying that. Further, for the commissions, and I understand, I understand the plight of individuals who have experienced what is this, destruction through the storm. I understand, okay?
May I say something?
Okay.
Yes.
As directors or commissioners of this
Body.
commission, we better make sure you're insured, because if a customer fails and CHamoru Land Trust fails, we're gonna get sued even individually.
I understand.
Are you ready for that? Because I'm not.
I understand, and that's why we're gonna get it through the legislative process.
We're not-
They're gonna overhaul the details.
I'm not guaranteeing how the legislature is going to respond. I'm going to talk to them. I will talk to the speaker.
Permission
Yeah.
from the legislature. We're not gonna vote on it, just ask.
Oh, okay, because Mr. Herrera, Commissioner Herrera is getting ready to make a motion, and I just want to remind the commissioners, the ability of the CHamoru Loan Guarantee Fund to reasonably provide security for the loans authorized.
That's page 11, are you in?
Page 23. In no event, and attorney, that's what our attorney's here for, am I misunderstanding this, where it says, in no event shall the aggregate amount. Based on this information,
Assured by the
I
commission.
believe the CHamoru Land Trust Commission has exceeded.
Legal counsel, what's your,
Okay, I don't have the benefit of having all of the, the information that you have. I would just, if you have exceeded the ability to, you know, provide security for the loans authorized, and it doesn't seem like you can continue to guarantee loans until
Right.
you have that resolved.
And that would be done by the legislature for us to make any
For
amendments.
funding, it would go through the legislature.
Right.
I just want to throw a little something into the mix also, because we had mentioned it earlier, is Guam Housing Corporation. If they could guarantee the loan, if we could, you know, they already have the template. They already have the procedure for guaranteeing loans for their recipients, right? Use that same boilerplate and apply it to SBA. They would guarantee the loan, but also we should require that mortgage insurance be taken out by the recipients.
That's right.
Well, for Guam Housing, I believe they have that option. Oh, no, not
Yeah,
mortgage
but if we
insurance.
could talk to them,
So
but
we want Guam Housing to take on the liability of
subsidize
guaranteeing.
the guarantee.
But Director, you mentioned that SBA is the one that's asking for the.
Yeah, so I
SBA.
reviewed the documents, right? And in part of that document, it states that what they're requesting, I don't have it verbatim, is that CLTC, the Chamorro Land Trust Commission, guarantees loan authorization.
Yeah, it's,
It says guarantee, yeah. Prior to disbursement of loan funds in excess of $25,000, borrower is to provide a guarantee from the Government of Guam, Chamorro Land Trust Commission, satisfactory to SBA.
okay, satisfactory to SBA.
Right.
So we got to knock on SBA's door and say, can we get Guam Housing instead of,
But we need Guam Housing Corporation, and we cannot just say let Guam Housing get hooked.
Need a motion to request for the funds.
Yeah.
I will write a letter, call the speaker, call our chair.
And just emphasize that
oversight.
this is an emergency.
I mean, we need to go down and lobby to the speaker? Would
There's
we-
no hearing yet.
No,
So-
we, individually, right, we can.
She represents CLTC, so she can.
How about individuals that are out there sweating under the ranch or under the
No,
sun?
she's going to go out to the legislature
Yeah.
to start
But
with
that
that
would help,
voting.
right? If-
Yeah.
If
I
the
mean,
families are.
my heart breaks for those people, but right now we're caught between a very difficult situation, but we want to work what will happen, work to the best of our ability. To be even better, the legislature says we'll increase your budget for the loan guarantee.
Mm.
And I don't think we need to have,
Fix the need to move.
I don't know, okay, but I'm saying, I don't think we need to have, if we have $5 million outstanding on loans, that we need to have $5 million locked up in a bank, not being able to work.
Right.
You know, because not all $5 million participants are going to default all at the same time.
Right.
Okay.
Unless it's a
And
friend,
Mortgage
you
insurance.
know, not to pay back.
Yeah, but okay.
So what,
Because we could get 100 applicants in next month saying they got approved by SBA, but they need our guarantee.
so what, I will call Guam Housing and I will write a letter to
The speaker.
the speaker and the appropriation. That is the motion that needs to be made. If we are going to guarantee, I cannot take action, the action needs to come from the commissioners to motion to guarantee, provide a guarantee for these individuals. And that being said, I read the law, I've read our current situation, and I leave that to the commissioners to make that determination.
But Director, but.
Just lot descriptions.
Well, as-
The commissioners can motion to approve the request for loan guarantees that are currently before you. Huh?
To seek loan guarantee.
To seek loan
Yeah,
guarantee?
as a whole.
Yeah. To seek it from Guam Housing.
We're going to, if, what needs to happen is, a motion needs to be made to accept this and approve the loan guarantee. That's what the commissioners need to do. However, I did mention, we don't have the finances in, and I did read the law. I leave it to the
Yeah,
commissioners to
we're
decide.
gonna meet again and make another motion?
No, you can motion in general to accept
Yeah.
all requests for loan guarantees. Commissioner
Right.
Herrera, legal counsel, I would caution.
I would,
What comes first?
I would suggest that we try and reach out to the speaker, reach out to Guam Housing before we execute anything.
You said what comes first, like the funds or the,
Either we get additional funds to do the loan guarantee, or we get Guam Housing to guarantee the loans, based on the existing setup we have with it. That's why I'm saying it might be easier with Guam Housing. But then again, they have to accept,
we can,
they have to accept,
right? We can ask.
I will
for-
approach both.
and then we'll vote on this later.
After the funds are here.
Until we know what direction we're going to be allowed to take. But please,
You're the banker.
please focus on trying to resolve this, because we do have tenants out there that are in dire need of safe and proper housing.
So no, I will call the legislature, write to them, and then I will work with Guam Housing on the guarantee. I cannot speak to them with regard to what it is that they're gonna wanna do or can do, right? I can't, on either side, but the approach will be made and the discussions had.
Could we have done this when you guys met with the SBA officials and FEMA back then in June?
Could we have done
You know,
guarantees?
well, projecting that it was a disaster. You guys want
If
to say, right?
they were rejected from SBA.
Well, first of all, there wasn't any request until after our meeting. Could we have done this? No, because we still didn't have the money. The commissioners need to approve the loan guarantee. And it could not have been done, even if we met all the requests that we've received so far came in after July. Even in July, if we're saying, oh, we anticipate that we're gonna have to guarantee loans, we couldn't do it because we don't have the money.
So let's say that we have another typhoon next month, and we were pre-planning and have a reserve fund, that in the event that we have another typhoon next year or next 2 years, that we have that rainy day fund,
Revolving fund.
that just in case, and you'll be earning interest for the trust, and you'll be on standby in the event that there's another disaster declaration from the President of the United States, and we get into the serious disaster need category, then we have our ducks in order, we have our cash in order. Any recipient that comes in with the SBA approved loan, you're guaranteed, because remember, they only have 6 months window.
I understand.
And but the sooner that they get the homes constructed, then the sooner they're into a safe, sanitary, and safe condition home. That's being proactive and projecting contingency plans in the event. Because we won't have another typhoon, it's just when we know that it's going to come. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Instead of a direct appropriation to CHamoru Land Trust, could the legislature set up a revolving fund specifically for this purpose? Because it's not going to be used, okay? It's not going to be used unless a tenant defaults, right? And what, you know, so the money stays in the general fund, they'll guarantee the loan, but after our review. That way, there's no money that's coming directly to us in CHamoru Land Trust, but we'll be empowered to guarantee the loans through the general fund.
We can ask.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just throwing out ideas so we can move forward.
Very good. It's good.
I know I would be miserable if I was living out under a tarp.
And then if you have children and elderly, this is a serious subject.
I understand, Commissioner, and you know,
I know you have compassion for them, Director.
I didn't write the law. And our funding, I'll leave it to the legislature.
Yes, please.
Yeah, we're going to go down and lobby.
If you want, we can join you to talk to the legislature for approved funding. It doesn't have to be approved through us, but at least the general fund. For guaranteeing the loan.
Yeah,
But we would still insist also that they take mortgage insurance out.
The lessees.
Yeah.
mm.
That's
And
required.
I'm surprised SBA is not requiring that.
I have to read it again in its entirety. I did see that, mortgage insurance.
Okay, so. What's the next?
Next.
Agency report. We have, Guam Water area. So, in your packet, you have 3 maps. The first map is lot 10125-R10 Dededo. Description is, it's on your lower left-hand corner, it's just a little red dot. So these wells don't take up a whole lot of land area. The largest that I'm seeing so far is the 16 by 16. And it's just like previous, they just need the board, the commissioners to approve right of entry to go in and inspect for lots. We have Bobby Cruz, Land Agent 3 from GWA, if you had any specific questions regarding the request for entry.
Which one is that?
Which one is this one? Track 10125, the first one. And this is in
So this is the monitoring, hi, my name is Bobby Cruz from GWA. The monitoring wells that, for the aquifer.
Guam Water Works Authority. So this lot, the first lot, Bobby, track, did you give him a picture of that?
The track 10125 is one you were mentioning, that's the one for which I gave you. So one's Stratford.
That's the 16 by 16 pad, right? 16 by 16? That's the first T100C lot 32-9. They're all indebted up.
Okay, so just the motion to approve?
For pretty much lifetime, it's for
Lifetime.
monitoring the aquifer. We get the water quality data along with USGS and WIRI, which is you. Constructed these wells or monitoring wells, and for a while it's just old practice. Government facility, they were just going in.
So then you discovered that you didn't actually
Me
have
coming
a
in,
right of
yes.
entry. Okay,
Yes.
got it.
So we've rehabilitated, so some are on school property or DOE property. Contractors did go and coordinate with the superintendent to have access to do what we needed to do, which is pretty much secure because all of these were all back, just, I believe, small structure not fenced. So through the grant, the property secured, so, because of course it's straight down to the aquifer, we didn't want it. But yes.
How many of these types of wells do you have that you don't own ownership?
Well, as of right now, that was the argument was, it was government Guam property. Through the federal grant, they require that we have either ownership or easement. And we had a list that stated somewhere federal and government Guam, which is COTC or land management. So I believe we only have 2 that's under GWA. Because at one point in time, it was a deep well.
How many wells?
For GWA or all together?
Island-wide.
Well, as of right now, we've only rehabilitated 10. So 2 GWA, 3 was CLTC.
Where you guys don't have title to?
There's quite a few. It's case by case.
I mean, private property.
Case by case. We haven't gotten,
You have a lot?
no, case by case. So, as we try to see what has ownership and go through the process.
Because the reason I bring this up is I spoke to you a year ago,
Yes. And that's with legal counsel right now.
Yes,
So it's still,
but I never got feedback from you on it.
because it's really, the last I spoke was, it was with legal counsel, so we're still pending her response.
We're selling that property.
Understood. I've given her the information that you provided.
All right, I'm sorry that I took it off track, but I'm sorry. But I just wanted to know how many wells are on private hands, or private lands rather.
Well, we're going through the process as with the land survey
Mhm.
project that we're doing, so.
Okay, well, like I said, I just wanted to find a number for them. Do you know what?
Not off the bat.
No.
One.
These are, Commissioner Herrera, just for clarification, these are in Dededo, not Attica.
Oh.
Yeah. One is like in the
Is
Gura area.
fenced in?
The monitoring house?
No, the
So they
area
do not
that
have-
the wells are situated in,
Yeah,
are they inaccessible?
Oh, no, there is this. The ones that are not, like fully is the DOE, which is the school properties, but we have right of entries for those.
No, but it's accessible, even though it's in the DOE compound.
Yes. Well, it's because, I'm saying it inaccessible because it's gated, so that's the only reason, so we just have to
Because I know
coordinate.
you have a water well also in the country club, right?
We have multiple. No, so those are deep wells. The one we're requesting are monitoring wells. But yeah, we have multiple, about 6.
Did you do not Attica?
Correct.
Okay, so we'll make a motion. Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion for the Guam Water Works Authority to have rights of entry into CHamoru property lot 10125-R10. They do well size 16 by 16, and then the second lot would be number 10122-R9, also in Dededo, and lot T100C B4 L32-9, also in Dededo.
Are they all the same size?
6 by 6.
16 by 16, 4 by 4, and 6 by 6.
Do I need to specify that?
Yeah,
Okay. Just to reiterate,
it could be the whole,
10125-R10, Dededo, the well size is 16 by 16 concrete pad. That's 16 feet by 16 feet. And then lot 10122-R9 in Dededo, well size 4 feet by 4 feet concrete pad. And then lot T100C B4 L32-9 in Dededo, well size 6 feet by 6 feet concrete pad. That's the 3 lots, Madam Chair.
How deep are these?
So we did not indicate the names of it, the businesses. We indicated the lot numbers. All right, so this is just for your information. We can provide a more detailed list of names at a later time if you wanted it.
Okay. Wow.
So this just gives you an idea, yes, sir.
The per diem, where does it fall? Well, isn't that like the commercial use type of property right now?
Fadita?
Yeah, the one that we're going to be grading?
I don't think we own Fadita anymore, right? We don't own Fadita.
The listing that you see there is the listing of properties available for commercial use that has already been declared and designated for commercial use to the new Public Law 3395. So the PDN is going to a bill, so that's not going to need us to have to designate and declare if it's on right.
I think it's to the right. It's to the right.
To the right?
Because closer to the former Perez area?
Yeah, I think it's in.
So yeah, to
Okay.
the right, if this is Paris.
I think it's closer to that Perez site, yeah. I'll get it for sure. But this was at the request of you, Commissioner Garrido, Commissioner Herrera.
And thank you.
You have to, we have the properties available for commercial.
one that, that we're supposed to get funding from the.
One of the challenges, if I'm not mistaken, if I recall the conversation, is who would take on the liability to pay, right, for the infrastructure? Is it the lessee? Is it gonna be CHamoru Land Trust? That was, the conversations ended, there was no, so they needed to determine who was gonna pay it
Not a
back.
grant?
No, it's a loan, right? So, at the time, I think the estimate was $50 million. That has probably close to doubled, given the current, cost.
Where's this property located?
1021 is behind,
To the right side of Swamp Road.
Where?
Swamp Road,
Swamp Road.
To the right side?
to the right side.
So going into Swamp Road, you turn left into Swamp Road from Waisenson?
You pass it along my sing song, and it's about where Channel Club is. No,
Okay, I'm going in,
Oh, 1022, left hand, right
I'm going in on Ipalpo.
yeah.
I turn left into Swamp Road.
No, you pass Swamp Road, you keep going maybe about 1,000 feet on the left, and, I'm sorry, about 50,
Before the
22.
curve?
1022, okay.
Before the curve.
Before.
So that's, discussions have not been picked up again. We've not continued discussions on that. The issue there is who's going to take on the liability and the cost. And could our lessees or individuals, applicants or lessees, be able to afford it?
Unless GWA wants to step up and put in the water.
Well, we actually had discussions with GWA, given Atacao, they're looking at coming in and placing, or a ventry, yes, we did. We broached the conversation, so it's there, we put it on the table. If there's something that can be done. Especially if they need to build a new water,
It'd be a service to the general public.
yes. So that's where we are with 1022.
1022.
1022.
Is there anything else?
That was it, Madam Chair, with regard, I think I covered everything that was on the agency report.
Buenas, Madam Chair.
Yeah.
Madam Chair. Commissioner Rivera. Eric Johnson.
Attorney Finney, thank you for allowing us to come today. I didn't know he was going to be here. And he's not with me.
Buenas,
Madam Chair,
Mr. Gabali, I'm Gabali. Commissioners, David Herrera, Ralph Tourism, Legal Counsel,
Christine.
Kristen Finney.
Friendly,
Christine.
or Christian Friendly, and Madam Administrative Director for the CLPC. Estigin ang tayo i totu university bago po sa estigin ang kasosyon ko di itanukan sa Morland Trust di managayit sa Morland Trust o kumpendin na
Dispenser, sa amin none.
Wow si Jose Chagola Pirata. Mula magtumago ka di paising i-edudumizo. Itano ni usa dili problema na itano ni Manoyo lot number ni Manoyo dinansi na lot number Manoyo Road Express siya muna Portugal na lot Motomar di stia bringing cocina ka na dinansi lot number ni Gayo dan lot number is na lot number Okwa Rogo Ramzu Manilujan, Mananawi, Gredon, and Gredane, Umeko Power, this Spiritual Banda. Responder. I work with GPS alignment. We restore power during the IWDS, during these disasters declaration of Mawar. I am very humble to the people of Guam who indeed to return back the power. I will succeed. I am very devoted to Guam Power Authority. As you all know, my presence in helping the people of Guam restore that power back. I am very happy. I would like to thank my wife who always pray for me that I be safe. I know it's the first time I ever Madam Chair, Mr. Pedalio, and Madam Director Alice Kelly, and the Commission. It's the first time I ever experienced it. My faith is lost. And like I'm here to ask you guys for your blessing, your honorable support, and asking for your honorable support in providing me and my family. But right now, we're living in an uncomfortable situation right now. I know that when it rains, it's very, very hard to really get up in the Mr. Pedalio and all the commissioners and the new council and the staff and management. I'm asking for your support. And please consider my situation. I need your help. The money is in the bank. I will not withhold the payment. The other constituents that are facing this issue, I am looking forward to please consider us, help us. I am asking for your blessing. So, again, it's really hard for me to get back in track. But with the help of the COTC, Madam Chair, Mrs. Arlene Budalio, Madam Director, Administrative Alice Tarama, and all the Commissioners, Mr. David Rivera, and Mr. Earl Urizu, and the Legal Counsel, Christian Pringley, and management and staff. I need support. I want to rebuild. I want to rebuild my life to shelter my family in good faith and good support and in understanding that with the help of the COTC, where as we build from the SBA fund that is now in the bank, I am asking the COTC to please consider and help me out. I've been losing hours. I've been taking leave because of these issues that I'm going through back and forth to SBA or to CHamoru and Trust. I just want to ask that we please correct my name on the lot that I am assigned to, because I never knew that the lot I'm sitting is assigned to me, but it's a different name.
So you're saying the name on your lot is not your name?
Yeah, it's not in my name.
Is that what's stopping you from building?
I just want to rectify put it back into my name as Jose CHamoru Canatas, that I am sitting in that right lot number, you know, and not having sitting in that lot number, and it's not in my actual name.
And how many years have you been occupying?
We've been there since we were in a grassy area and was playing there at times,
So you've been there 20 plus years?
yeah. I just need your support.
Thank you, Mr. Chargaloff, Commissioner. So in response to Mr. Chargaloff's request, there's two items, correct? He's requesting for a loan guarantee from the Chamorro Land Trust Commission. You heard our discussion earlier, the commissioners cannot do anything. I'm going to go to the legislature, they may come with me, and we're going to ask for funding to support us, to be able for them to be able to vote to approve loan guarantees. That's one. With regard to your situation, it was brought to my attention this week, and what I did was I've already assigned it to an individual. We're looking into the situation. You are in the correct lot, it's my understanding.
Yeah.
There's a lot of research that needs to be done, and so this land agent is on top of it. We've identified that he is in the right lot. The issue is, I think it's a few lots further down, there's somebody else that's there, and it's just somebody else's name assigned to your lot for tax purposes, if I'm not mistaken. But we are looking into that issue. And one of the processes, we are going to the board. But I'm almost sure all it needs is for us to be able to reach out to the Department of Revenue and Taxation and say, here are the supporting documents. Please change the name and correct this. But I've already spoken to the land agent, and she is on top of that. And we're preparing that. That was just brought to my attention this week. So we are on top of it. Or we're working on that.
So water power has no intertiding?
No. So if an individual needs, we're not requesting for utility authorization, correct? So utility authorizations for water and power, that should usually, our land agents know already, and I've instructed that usually goes quickly, is if there's a request for that, they bring it in, we review the file, okay, prepare the letter, I sign off on it, and then you give it to the individual who needs it. But I think
If I own the land, right, and Mr. Chaglav is paying for my land, doesn't it reflect me that I'm not paying my taxes to the CRTC or
Yes.
something?
yes, it would reflect that you're not paying. I don't know what's happening with regard to payments from Mr. Kanata. I'd have to reach out to, we're going to reach out to the Department of Revenue and Taxation. We're finding this out as individuals come in. And we're having to make those corrections should they occur. If it's as easy as, hey, DRT, please correct this person. I've had a discussion with our staff, and they have shared that back in, I think it was 2015, there was a master plan that was issued.
For this area?
Dededo, right? Yeah, it's a Dededo subdivision master plan or agricultural master plan. I what's happening with regard to wrong names with the team, right? So that's another issue that we're trying to correct. Some names were put on a certain lot, but they're actually in another lot. So those are things that we need to correct, and we won't know unless it's brought to our attention at this point. So in Mr. Kanata's case, we are following up. We are, the land agent is preparing communications to you and the agency that we think it needs to correct now, to getting his name.
I don't want to be notified that you have to evict the place because the lot, I mean, the name is not under, the property we're staying at, Although the lot number is under my assigned lot, but the name is not there. So,
We're working to address.
I do not have that loan guarantee and agreement. I'm just trying to be ahead, looking for construction to deal with the support of Madam Chair Arlene, Mrs. Arlene, Madam Director, Administrative Director Alice Tarrant, and all the commissioners and your council, Mr. David, give me that support so I can start moving and not living under a canopy.
Commissioners, may I just say, you know, Mr. Turtle, we understand, honestly, we understand and appreciate the situation and the call to our speaker. Even before I composed a letter to her saying, look, we have this meeting and this is what's happening and this is what we need, right? At this point in time, the commissioners cannot approve to provide a loan guarantee. They cannot. They cannot. It's against the law. We don't have the funding to approve it. They can't do it. That would be contrary to law. And that would be a big mistake for them. But we will make the call, and I will make the call and see what the legislature can do to assist to that end.
Yeah, you know, I was hoping that from the past storm that I was listening from back, that if we, this is the first time, like I said, I've been to a disastrous issue. But back then, during the PACA time, Pamela time, and Pongsonia, I don't know if the law is loan guarantee or agreement. So I know every
Federal disaster loans, they added in these loan guarantees, which was not required before. And that's what's hurting our island people who are like in your position. But we've heard our director, she'll call the Speaker of the House, tell the Speaker what the situation is, and ask for some sort of remedy, because this is an emergency situation. All right, and we're dealing also with sanitation and living conditions. I don't know the extent of your devastation of your home site, but
total loss.
That's what I'm saying. This is something new. Well, there were no, to my knowledge, there were no loan guarantees before for disaster appropriations. You have to also keep in mind that in the mainland USA, they've been having a lot of devastation also with hurricanes and unusual weather. So FEMA's stretched out already as it is. Right now, Hawaii is, Maui is undergoing this real bad fire that's going on in the island of Maui, in Hawaii. But she knows the direction that we need to go with. We've told her what she needs to do or what we would like her to do, which is talk to the Speaker, try and talk to Guam Housing, and with the Speaker either to give us the appropriation to guarantee the loans or to guarantee it under the general funds. That way they don't have to appropriate the money to us. Thank you. But we'll try our best. The director won't let you down.
And I will be visiting the Speaker's office as a private individual. As a private individual.
And as you heard earlier, I said I was willing to go with her to talk to the Speaker. I'm pretty sure Commissioner Herrera will do the same thing.
You can go as a private individual.
Yeah, but we can go in as a group also.
Also, you can do both.
And hopefully
And you're
Madam Chair will
welcome
be able
to
to
join us. She monitors our broadcast. Like Madam Chair says. She may be on the ball already, waiting. But that's it now. So, thank you so much, Mr. Rocky Man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, can I ask for a 3-minute break?
We got one more.
Oh, you want to ask the same thing?
We have one more. You're in the same?
No.
Mr.
Okay.
Delphin's might be a little longer.
Okay, all right. So you wait.
Can you wait?
Okay, so we'll let you know if we're going to be heading down.
So I just wanted to meet and I didn't want to treat right now.
Yes, no, we'll,
But I know I've informed and I hope, there's no questions that the board would while you are, presenting the issue, but I just wanted to make sure you knew that I wasn't just like, you know.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
Doon na tutuwa.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I have to-
I gave this the last board meeting.
Excuse me.
So I don't know.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Thank you.
What to say from
All right, good luck to you.
because, you know, I gave that and I had gone for my surgery, my left shoulder, and I just got back to you.
You have the original on this?
Oh, yes, ma'am. I already gave this to them.
Okay.
Na, pinta lo fofo, pag inulangan.
Mosquitoes lati, malesot. Nananaw pa sa malesot. Duman pa rin sa
Lagi mo nga momento sa
Kaya na, dinim na naman.
Yan.
Pero kung vamos kaya sa sudan na ibos melo, kung sumagay, malaki, kumano ka niso.
Ginakutin. The marks, you know, so that. Is that
1745.
Oh, yung
Ah,
Did she leave?
Yes, she had to go to EP. She's also legal counsel for EP.
You can receive. Maybe.
All right, so please state your name. We are on public comment. And so we have somebody at the table. State your name, and then you can proceed.
Good day, my name is Eric John Apti Delphin. I'm here today because I'm seeking your approval, the Commission's approval, Madam Chair, Party Medallion, Chair, Commissioner Dave Herrera, Commissioner Earl Garrido, and Director Alisari. It's been a long, arduous, tedious speaking what you guys were talking about earlier about a loan guarantee, because I have been approved with Guam Housing. And at times when I came here,
He's number 7 on the list. Number 7 on the list.
Okay.
I came here last year. I was gonna, it doesn't show, but I had previously had a loan guarantee last year. But because of COVID, or 2020, COVID came and everything was slowly being processed everywhere. Took a long time. So my loan pre-approval at Guam Housing expired. So I had to do the process again. So last year, I applied again. And it went into this year that I got pre-approved. And then I came down here with my pre-approval letter from Guam Housing stating that I needed a loan guarantee at that time. And you know, I don't know the process. And when I came down here, like everywhere else, you go to the bank, you go to somewhere to give you a specific requirements, to meet this requirement, submit this, even for you apply for a loan. So when I came, I said, what's the process? The only thing I read was in the lease agreement, before you construct, you have to provide all the documents. But other than that, I came here and I gave this pre-approval loan from Guam Housing, and they told me, oh no, it's only pre-approval, we can't give you a loan guarantee. I went and told them that, they worked on it, I had to provide more documents, I got the approval. I came back and did it again, and now I'm still waiting for my loan guarantee. I gave that letter to, before you see that, that's dated May 18th. I attended the meeting, the board meeting, and I gave it. I didn't speak at that moment, I should have maybe, because I left in June for an operation on my left shoulder, and now I'm back. But I came here weeks ago, and I'm still not on the agenda, but I guess they put it on the amendment, agency issues. So I'm here today to request, please, I need that loan guarantee so I can proceed with my house. I've been going through the process of the building permits and all that.
Okay.
So just for the commissioners, we can't guarantee pre-approval.
Yeah, and I do have it approved that.
Yeah, we just received that, so the approval letter,
And that's just for the home construction, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
for his home. Yeah, this is the home construction.
June 14th, so when I left, the banks go back to Guam Housing. It's a long process. It's not easy to ask.
Okay.
And, you know, you know, I'm glad that you know, I've learned a lot of things along the way. Good things I'm still learning. Even like There's a lot of requirements now when people building houses, you gotta pay for the contractors to attend. I was gonna avail to the VA, but that process is even longer. And even now, the VA is just opening in Hawaii, because they're working from home and they're working from different states. So it's really hard to engage with
And
them.
VA is three.
Yes, yes, and I even,
And then SBA is.
yeah, and they even have a letter now that it's almost like a national, Native American land like that, for the, like they do for the Indians, and one that done for CHamoru Land Trust lessees as well.
And your closing cost is 22?
That's estimated,
Maybe 8, maybe more, maybe less?
yes, sir.
So you gotta come up with a cash?
Yes, sir.
To 20. With the SBA, many closing.
No, I didn't apply for SBA.
Yeah, but if it was an SBA?
Yeah, I did, but that I didn't apply.
Okay, wow, that's. Okay, so, again,
So I'm just excited, and like I said in my letter, I just want to,
start going to the legislature.
yes, but is there any money now for that guarantee the Guam housing loans? None at all? Am I like the number 1,000 in the year? Or how many have you built this year?
Right, that was the questions I was
Yeah, how many?
asking. I don't,
And does it really require, like you said, money, a number in the bank, or is this,
is it a percentage or?
the speaker say, don't worry, I guarantee it. This body will guarantee it. This government, I don't know.
Well, regardless if there's no money or not, the law binds their hands because they cannot approve. In no event shall the aggregate amount assured by the commission exceed the ability of the CHamoru loan guarantee to reasonably provide security for the loans authorized. So right now, there's $10 million in outstanding loans, right, that we have guaranteed. We don't have the ability, whether they call it in or all at one time or not, we don't have the ability to provide security for that. So really, we're in trouble.
So you've
Right.
been doing it since way back, since 8 million, 7 million ago.
Yeah, based on the numbers there, it's
You
been.
just kept adding your debt.
Apparently that's what's happening, but we're gonna, again, we're gonna work on this with the legislature as of today.
So I'm just wondering, why is it just today? As of today, you have no notification out, you didn't put anything out in the media, going through the process. I came here 3 weeks ago, you could have told me then. But, I'm here today
Yeah.
because I wasn't told that.
And
And it's just.
Your request, Mr. Delphin?
No, but there's a specific portion there in your regulation that says land trust personnel will extend information to the lessee to provide the best possible information to make sure your whatever you need to do on your property is appropriate. I was never given that.
Well, individuals were informed that the commissioners have the authority to make that decision.
And each time I came down here, it was another, I need this. And I came a long time ago, and I was never put on the commission's agenda. I was never. I came, just the day they told me I needed an approved, not pre-approved. Because you guys I said, where's that in writing?
yes. That was part of my question too about.
There's nothing in writing, sir, that tells an individual applicant, because that's everything's needed. You can't go and buy a car if you don't have any money. You just don't go there and say, I'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah.
You can drive away,
You need the funds, you need them. Mhm.
So I'm asking today, why am I being, it's
You're
being
almost a victim.
singled out?
Yeah.
I'm not the only one here asking. Was anybody here last week, last month, asking? I was actually here in May, if you look at that letter, and even beforehand. But I was always turned away, because I needed this, I needed that.
Well, now we finally kind of, that's why I was asking earlier, right? What's the balance? What do we need? How do we need to expand? And
Delphin, this letter that you sent to us, they received on May 18th, and the typhoon happened May 24. And it was just in this meeting now that we learned that SBA needed a guarantor for people who staying in CHamoru Land Trust properties.
Oh, yes, ma'am, but that's different because that's a federal assistance, that's something coming up. This is our government, Guam Housing, that's providing for our government on government land. So aren't we all together trying to help each other?
Yeah, that's why we asked Ms. Tyru to check with Guam Housing about using our property, but they are the ones to guarantee the loan.
So,
Because we don't have the funding right now.
well, not just, Madam Chair and Commissioners, we don't have the funding. I don't think we've had the funding for quite some time. This law has been in existence, and I brought it to your attention. My job is to protect the commission, to protect the agency, to protect our beneficiaries, right? So financially, we don't have it. We haven't had it for about $10 million back, right? 1, 2. The law does state that you may. It doesn't say you have to or you shall. It says you may. You may guarantee. You don't have to. As we discussed earlier, right, is I will call the speaker, I will call Senator Sinoxi. And I know Mr. Delphin is upset, but when he came in here, there were many issues with his file that we discovered that required legal, and you don't want me to go into it right now, that required legal guidance. I'd be willing to share that with everybody, but it's another one of those issues that I was told, well, I can't take certain actions, and that's the last thing I want to do, right? But there were many she works with that this is board authority, okay? There are many other issues which caused the delay for your request. If you want, I can get into it now. You really don't want me to?
I really do want to know because what issues did I have?
Okay.
I was never made aware of anything.
Because a lot of these things, you will be made aware when it's brought to our attention. So it could have been, it happened before, but nothing was done. But I am here today, and my job is always to protect everyone. One, when you came in, you started to backfill. There were citations from DPW. We had to take a look at that. We had to go out and inspect, right? The biggest thing is the lease. How you got, but he's on December
29.
29, 1995. Can you get the date and time?
It's okay.
The other issue is, which is what required legal counsel, right, is to look over is, he had 2 applications. And he was allowed to pay for the applications late. The law stated, I believe the law stated you had X amount of days to pay, but he paid for the applications years in advance.
When we say 2 applications, you applied twice?
He had 2 applications, yeah.
Commissioner, when I was called in 2018, I completely was unaware and
You applied again?
and that I applied again, but that I had one previously. So they
Oh.
told me, and I remember back then because I was in the military and I came back to Guam, and at that time when it was open, I applied.
On
I said
December
you have to
29.
pay, and you have to pay because I left. I was in the Marine Corps. I didn't get out till 1996, and then. They called me 2018, which is how many years later? 23 years later.
So the first
Come get it.
application
Now they
was-
made me pay again. And I told them, you got a receipt? I don't have my receipt. So there's no record of payment, so I made the payment then.
But you.
So now it's my fault?
Nobody's saying it's your fault, Mr. Delphin. I'm just
Nobody's
saying.
you're saying that was the wrong thing. I paid it at that time.
There were issues with the file which required us to seek legal guidance along the way before anything could be done, right? In addition to diligence, and these are a lot of issues that keep coming before us. Constantly, we're calling legal counsel, we need your guidance. How do we proceed with
There's
this?
my one notice of violation from
Is
DPW.
that the,
When I was I had my clearing and grading stuff, and I didn't know at the time you can't backfill and to do all the permit, and I was in the process of permitting. So they told me, and I came in, and then they told me to stop. And what does it say, sir, there on my, what I need to do?
We plan changes, trying to acquire insurance, so, right?
Right,
Yeah,
so
but
I
it
have
was-
a contract with Mr. Efren Sanchez doing that. And he's in the process, oh, you guys received that. He's in the process of finalizing that because, he's got many jobs. So he has to do that, so they're doing a topographical survey to include to my building permit.
Yeah.
And, Mr. DPW, Trinidad.
Oh.
Yes, P Trinidad. Okay, you're good.
So the backfilling is on a river or?
No, what it is, sir, is the property is like this, there's a road and it goes like this and it goes, slopes down a little. So I was just backfilling it to make it easy.
All right. Now you applied twice. You applied in December 29th first? The first one?
Yes, sir.
And then you applied that?
2009, when I was back
2009.
later on, but I didn't know, but one could be agriculture, one could be
Oh, okay,
residential, right?
okay.
So all those issues were identified with regard to his backfilling, that was addressed, we're well beyond that,
Yeah.
right? It's the other issues that caused the delay for us to review, seek legal guidance.
Okay.
With regard to, he was issued a lease without the date and time, this is well before, right? And then the applications, yeah, he was issued a lease,
On,
his date and time was December 29, right? Which was contrary to law. So that's something that we're trying to work out with legal counsel, but
I printed your listing, sir. You have over 500 in 1996, over 300 in 1997, about 100 something in 2011. Do you want me to go on? When you're telling me about me in 95,
of applicant.
of an applicant that was given in 95.
I see.
But
Oh, I see.
what about those hundreds
That
over
were given-
1995?
That were given leases?
Given.
Yeah,
they were given leases contrary to law
right.
pursuant to the date and
And
time.
they're not here today,
So-
but I'm here today and now.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Delphin,
You
what
gotta
is?
stop this all, it's just frustrating because this is not just something you snap your finger and you get all these documents. You gotta work for this stuff.
I
You
understand.
gotta pay, you gotta do a lot of research and make sure, it's not an easy
Understand.
task.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying, man, I'm just saying, where's my wrong that I did? Tell me this, my commitment to the loan is far beyond whatever anybody's thinking.
So
I'm
Madam-
here to stay, I'm here to live in Guam.
So,
Bring up
Madam
my
Chair,
family.
she's our boss, so.
Yeah, so all I'm asking, please,
Yeah.
let me move forward and, I've spoken to Lieutenant Governor, I'm not gonna lie to you, I went through it, like you said, go to speaker, I went to the speaker, but they're busy with the budget, sir. They're busy with everything, you know? I'm getting to fights with my wife because I'm here saying, and you guys are saying the same thing, Chomo Land Trust land is Chomo Land Trust land, government land. I don't own the land, but I own the building. I was telling my wife, but I'm gonna build, it's gonna be our house. Yes, receipt and everything. So all I'm asking is, please, sir, I already have the drive. They just called me again last night, right, about 5 o'clock, right before 5. Miss Susie May Santos out the Guam Housing, reminding me that there's a board meeting today, and please, and you're not on the agenda. I said, I know. So, she's asking me, what's the status of this? I said, I don't know, man. And I don't know what reasons I have that I don't have it, but I'm trying my best.
It's a good thing that you were here when we were discussing the loan process. So step number one, right after the meeting, because of now we know that the bank is empty, so we're gonna request for the funds to loan up the piggy bank for the guarantee.
But is that what you need to do, sir, or is that something administrative? Or in government, I don't know. But,
Not administrative,
No,
the
it's-
commissioners need to make that.
yeah, you
With
can
regard
make
to
that
the
call
loan
right now,
guarantee.
sir. I'm here.
We'll make that clear, Director, to the commissioners can approve
Okay.
the guarantee. Because
The
according to-
commissioners,
Go ahead.
yeah, the commissioners it's within the authority, it's not an administrative function. I do not have the authority to approve a loan guarantee. the commissioners have the authority to approve the loans and loan guarantees, right? You may.
Excuse me if I
Considering that the
can
funds are
interject
available.
about that? What I mean about the administrative, I'm talking about the loan guarantee for the government in the dollar amount. So is it administrative, or is it just something you put in the paper, or do we have to put money in the bank? Sure.
So,
Just like the VA, I can give you the VA loan certificate, they guarantee the first one 5,000, and then over the next, they put it in words, I don't know what the loan guarantee for
On the VA.
the land.
I can ask for further legal interpretation of the law that indicates that,
That's page 23, right?
page 23, in no event shall the aggregate amount assured.
So you don't have to.
We are actually-
No, but his is only 320,000, not 10 million. And I understand, we're trying to be practical here, right? So your loan is $320,000, right?
Approved by the housing government.
And for CHamoru Land Trust to guarantee your loan, you gotta have 320. Am I still in line?
I imagine at least 320.
But it's very practical, right? So we don't have 320 in the loan guarantee funds that account that we have. Am I online, Madam
Where is
Chair?
that,
I mean,
have that on there.
I mean,
I just read the thing.
Spreadsheet.
I mean, we want to help you and,
So we have, I think I provided this to our.
320 is Mr. Delphin's, approved.
So total cash in the bank is 300, that's less than restricted, it's $379,152.67.
379
$379
for the loan guarantee.
for the loan guarantee fund.
So would that suffice to cover this? I mean, asking-
Mathematically, yes, he's requesting for 320, there's 379.
You're catching the number, right?
Yes,
No?
Okay, so yes,
So if we approve, we can use that amount to cover, to guarantee Mr. Delphin's.
yes,
That would
but
make
you
it
also had
legal
Mr.
and-
Kanata who requested, and there's several others in here from SBA who are requesting. That exceeds, if you total it up, it exceeds the 379. So,
And we cannot approve it by itemization? In other words?
I mean, based on the cash, you can approve his loan guarantee,
And that would
but
cap
we
it.
still, the commission, the Chamorro Land Trust Commission is still 2,663, way over its,
For
I
the-
think,
for the
lawful
guarantee?
legal, for the guarantee.
Exceeds the guarantee fund.
It exceeds the,
And this is why we're seeking the legislature
Mhm.
to, you're catching the flow, right?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure you understand what we're saying here. So,
We have to be responsible for it.
but again, because I'm not sure if you're living under the canopy for now, but the other SB.
I'm renting those, sir, and I'd rather pay what I own.
Yes, I understand.
And
Yeah.
Still,
It says that the other condition, the SB.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Their house was completely blown, and that's why they're here, because they're under that emergency recovery. And that's why they got the SBA loan at 2%, $900 a month for 30 years. I'm not sure if your 320 was 900 a month.
no, it's more than.
Oh, yeah, so you see the
Yes.
benefit they have under the disasters, and then they don't have to pay any closing costs. You're estimated to pay about 20K.
Yeah, that I think you can move with the legislature to go to that
So-
federal
so-
funding.
Yeah, so
thing that-
why do, and I don't want to make an excuse, I only got here last year on April, so I'm catching on with the loan guarantee mechanism. Of course, my mind is saying, let's put 20 million in the loan guarantee for all of the above, VA, Guam Housing, SBA, and other loan guarantee requirements. put it in a rainy day fund. So, but your issue is not what we're facing. Your issue is to get the home, to start the groundbreaking and start pouring the foundation,
Yes, sir.
right? I feel for you, and I can see your photos that you've worked. That's not just one month work. And starting from, and then now understanding that, it was almost like, wait a minute, it was December 29, 1995, and the first people that got online was December 5th?
Number second.
December 2nd. And December 2nd, we were, myself and CHamoru Nation were sleeping in the mud in front of Hollywood to get this program going. We did that. We protested there for 3 months in the mud, being spat at. CHamoru flags were being torn, being hit by talantaman, but we're saying we're going to protest because we want the CHamoru Land Trust that the husband authored, the husband owed
Yes.
or valued. So we're here to help you. We're not we're not here to block you. So just a short history, and because you're a Marine, you understand the historical perspective.
Everybody that,
So do we want to help you? Yes, but we don't have the money, and we don't have the money. Then Ms. Tyrone is ready right after we adjourn.
that's the road you're gonna
because
take
that-
me down,
yeah.
and, it's,
Because they
Gonna
have the
be-
key for the safe, and we like.
my family heartbroken, but what can I do? That's
Yeah.
That's your answer, but,
Yeah.
you're saying 10 million, you're 10 million a home.
Could be
How many
more.
homes were that back?
Right.
100 people, so you prove 100 people, and now I'm the one that has to suffer. Or the 7,
Right.
and
Right.
that's not right.
Oh, of course. I mean, again, when the husband
I
decided
mean,
that.
if 10 million you were in the hole, that's like 10, 15 years ago. And I don't know how long you've been here, or.
6 months.
So in the last 6 months.
Last month.
Let
me share with you.
There was a typhoon that made us.
Yeah.
Sir, but my question is, the loan guarantee was not an item in your budget
No.
to fund, put dollar sign in.
No, that's not in our budget. That's not,
So you were never gonna ask for whether I came today or came last week.
No, but this one is opening up the window.
That's what I
for us.
mean. Where's the fairness in that? You were never gonna ask for money from
Right.
this time to after October 1st. So even somebody that got approved again in October, you're gonna turn them away. So we're gonna keep on working hard at
Yeah.
this, and you said you worked so hard to get this. Now you're here,
Oh.
now you're telling me this. So where's your hard work? What did your hard work do
Let
for
me
me?
share something with you. I sleep in a car right now. My house is fully blown. So.
I know, but see,
you
your
want
hard
to pay
work
fairness?
is,
No,
your-
yeah, let's not get into that.
your hard work, no, it should have paid off for the people. That's what I'm saying, sir.
Understand, yeah. But I sleep in a car because my whole home is blown
Oh,
away.
I feel for you, sir.
Really?
Right? I
Yeah.
sleep in my house.
Yeah. Okay, so we want to help you. And if you're blaming me, because
No,
we
I'm
didn't-
not blaming
we
you.
didn't check the
That's not what I
account,
said.
we're gonna get the account straight. Let's get that straight, Mr. Delphine.
I'm just kind of
Okay.
surprised that Guam Housing is requiring us to guarantee their loan.
Yeah, and that's my question to them, because that's a question they asked me. Why do they need? I said, I don't know, they gave me this paper, I'm just here giving it to you. I don't know.
No, we're gonna work with the legislature and,
So
this is
what is, I mean, how come the right answer doesn't do that? I'm not sure.
Well, those are questions that need to be funneled through Guam Housing, SBA, and any federal type programs that are
Yes, sir.
being
Yeah.
catered to disasters.
It's terrible. It's
well,
2021.
because I know you're not a disaster, right?
I'll clean up on
Right.
mitigation stuff. So I said, let me see. So now I didn't even ask that yet. I can do that here, so I'm thinking no, because it's not something that's even in the language of the CHamoru Land Trust lessee.
And, you know, again, getting back to the SBA, right, like this last applicant that had 240,000. So he had a disaster cleanup, and they're only asking guarantee for the home. So, you know, so, that last person that was here, you know, he's got a family and 4, 5 children, and he sleeps under a canopy, because he's got a canopy. So, but we understand, you know, he's a lineman. The guy works before, during, and after the storm, but each individual, but I take your case very seriously. If we have any problem with the backfill, or you came in and 1 day or 2 days, right now my focus is that you have a loan that was approved for 320, and you need a loan guarantee. My focus is in that matter. If these guys want to bring up the attorneys to stop the process, my focus is to get you the guarantee.
Thank you, sir.
Right after this, I will be down at the legislature, believe me, because, you know, you and these other individuals that were under the disaster program needs a home for their children, for the elderly. You and I, we can sleep under the mango tree, no problem, right? We can sleep in the
Right
mountain.
here,
No, you're a Marine, so.
I'm a Marine.
Yeah,
Feel like you sleep with your eyes closed.
correct. So, you know, I feel for you, and I don't want to bring this long because really, I really want to go down to the legislature.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, but,
Madam Chair, Commissioner Herrera, Commissioner Dorito,
Yeah.
Director Tan.
We'll try and resolve this as expediently as we can. I don't know how fast the wheels will turn at the legislature or at Guam Housing, but like I said, I'm surprised. It's a Guam Housing loan and they're asking us to guarantee their loan.
and just to let you know, we don't get paid to do this. I don't get paid. Right after this, if you want to join me down at the legislature, today or tomorrow, because I'm going to be lobbying is what we call it, so.
We're still doing budgets.
Yeah, people need help, people need the roof, we need the home.
Yes.
Call me if you're going by.
I'll call the speaker.
Thank you for
Thank you.
coming in and giving
Mr.
us
Delphin,
the
thank you.
information and your concern.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So
Do you want to resume?
I think you should, if you want to pick up this discussion, so that
Yeah.
there's no, is recess
Yeah.
until,
Okay.
How much time does the lawyer need to get things released?
with regard to what? The thing that we're gonna do is you want to discuss the loan guarantee,
Yeah.
right? You want to be able to keep that on the agenda, rather than waiting for September, is recess. Because that's still on the agenda, the
Yeah.
loan
Or
guarantee.
recess for us, not the.
Recess, no, not.
Yeah, we're not being in.
You don't adjourn,
Yeah.
is recess, because a letter and a phone call and a visit to the speaker needs to be made. I imagine you can recess maybe until, what we can do is, like, the last week of August, the 28th, 29th, 30th, or 31st, because it gives them
Do we
at
have-
least 1 week,
We have to do 1 week advertisement?
not for recess.
Okay.
No, because it's already been.
We will advertise that we're recessing, but if we adjourn, that's different, we need to, I think it's like 10 days prior to. So we will advertise that we are recessing until the certain date and time,
Mhm.
Do we
right?
make
Which
this date and
allows
time?
you to keep the same agenda,
Yeah.
right? And you want to discuss the loan guarantees
Mhm.
pursuant to what has occurred or may occur with the legislature.
And
So-
hopefully by then also we'll have the minutes of the prior.
Oh, Kathy Cabrera is almost done with the minutes.
But
and-
we'll go through it when we come back from recess.
I think that might be allowable, I'd have to look into that.
I don't think
Which
No.
one?
if the agenda's been published,
Oh,
No,
yeah,
but
yeah.
we're just recessing.
but it wasn't on the agenda for today.
It
Oh,
was.
yeah.
Or what?
No, it was indicated that it
minutes.
wasn't ready.
The minutes.
The minutes for the last
So
meeting, right,
page
July
two,
13th?
yeah, so the second page.
Yeah, we indicated that it wasn't ready for today's meeting. So, once Kathy's done, we can give it to you for review, but I don't think we can discuss it
So,
until the next meeting.
so after, so we're gonna continue on public comments? Or we can,
You,
No, we're just
agency,
doing the recess.
agency report, because that was the discussion.
because I have, because we keep talking, right, that we don't have the money. So remember we had some staff that we were supposed to hire, I think, last year?
So we have two, and that was part of my agency report, before we
Right,
this,
right. So we can discuss that on our next,
what would you like to, we have,
well, because we lost Tina Rose, right? And then are we hired or are we gonna hire?
we're trying to hire.
And where's the money gonna come from? to
That's
hire?
already budgeted for. The
Budgeted
two
for?
positions for the PC1 and the PC2 have already been budgeted for. It's with DOA, we've asked them for the list, they have informed us that they're backlog.
To get some lease going on? after-
Yes, I mean, it's gonna help, but it's not enough. We'll have the administrative assistant position open.
Tina Rose's or?
Yes, that's gonna be open, but we have to take a look at our budget. Based on right now, the cuts that were made, and the cuts that were made is, we won't have enough money to budget for, I was talking to Joey, maybe 2 more
PC.
land agents.
Which is a PC2?
Land agent is different.
Oh.
Yep.
Land agent.
Better just wait until the end of this September, then you
Yep.
hire October 1st.
Do we get to interview these people to
No.
understand if they know public law 35112? Or
No.
do they understand what's land use permit? So how
No.
can we hire them as land agents if they don't understand the rules, regulations, and requirements of public law?
It depends on if we're hiring a land agent one, or those questions will come up and it's composed by the team. Mr. Herrera, respectfully, that's operationally, right? So it would
Oh.
not be your governance,
Oh,
the commissioner's governance.
I
So
think
we
I'm-
would interview them, like, I don't interview. We identify Joey and some other individuals. We create the questions, and then they make that
I
determination.
think
and
our
then
governance on this for the
The final will come to
administrative
us.
director,
The
we-
CLTC,
have the
Yeah.
authority to hire the administrative director.
yes,
Yeah, according to.
We don't micromanage.
No, but because we don't have any money, right? And because if we don't help,
we don't have money in the loan guarantee
Yeah.
fund,
you see,
but that's not something that is
Yeah.
requested via the budget.
we don't micromanage, right? But if we did not go out and do our due diligence, Guam Raceway Federation would have continued what they've been doing. All the others would have been doing what they've been doing for the past 20 years. So some.
Yes, Mr. Herrera, Commissioner Herrera, I understand that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not blaming you or anything, I'm just saying, us as a whole, as a team, we're not even getting we're not even getting a cent from Global. Why? Since when? How can that happen? That's it, Madam Chair, I apologize.
Did you want me to respond to that? Because I just want to say that I understand that we're losing a lot of money. When I look at these issues, I discuss it, I am floored by the type of decisions that were made previously that have gotten us to this place. So I cannot speak or respond to the decisions that were made previously.
I agree.
I can only respond to what we're going to be doing moving forward. And we are moving forward on the commercial side, and we're trying to move forward on the residential and agricultural side. Given the tasks that our team, I have now a team of 8, I think it is, 8 or 9. Each of them average at least 15 to 20 constituents minimum.
Yeah.
And it's complicated every day. I'm not justifying anything, but moving forward
Wait,
is,
you said every land agent is attending to about 15 to 20 constituents.
at a minimum, right? So what I'm doing is, everybody has a case assignment. I'm tracking that. land agent has so, what is it? The process is, I know I was asked at one point in time, what is the process? So this is what happens. And many times we won't know until it's brought to our attention. When an individual comes in, the issue is brought to their attention. The land agent will come, we discuss it. All right, this requires a site visit. Once that's done, they provide their staff report. The staff report comes to me, we discuss it, they make their recommendation, and then we move. All right, we need, and this is, I don't think it's been done previously, but for record purposes and to show that they are working and that CLTC is trying to do what they can, is they are supposed to they're supposed to do their due diligence. They follow up and follow through and take a look at everything and every detail, because the devil's in the details. One, they will communicate with the individual. They will write to the individual constituent, itemizing, indicating what the issues are and what it is that they can do to fix it. If this issue requires us to reach out to another agency or to wherever, that's also done, is we will reach out to there to find, for example, Mr. Kanata. We're gonna reach out, my land agent is on it, we're gonna reach out to.
Assessment?
They sign in, and what happens is the intake form is based on their staff report. They indicate the discussions they have with, not the staff report, it's another sheet. We call it an intake, yes, it's an intake sheet. And it indicates what the issue is, what was discussed, and then who has it, is this going to the administrative director for her review and discussion. Every day, there's something new to discuss with my land agents. Every day, we are putting out fires. We're trying to address these constituents as quickly as we can.
So this is what the staff report, you can see as you give us the staff report when they're in the agenda.
Well, yes, if they're on the agenda, yes. And I apologize for that last meeting. Basically, there was 2, 3 that really didn't need to come to the board, but for transparency purposes, I brought it to the board. Is mostly for informational, right?
Yeah.
But, and as I indicated before, moving forward, staff reports will always be made available to the commissioners when the constituent comes before for whatever request is needed and needs your attention.
See, for example, Mr. Delphin, we didn't know the background. Remember, he just came in for one housing. And you mentioned, you wanted to mention, but if we had the staff report on Mr. Delphin and he was on the agenda, we would be addressed ahead of time for his case. But it's good that you.
So he, his name, so I purposely did not issue these requests, the loan guarantees with the names, right?
That's okay.
I didn't know if these individuals, protect their identity, right? Now with regard to Mr. Delphin, his request was just received and it was on the agenda, but not in person because you don't have to individually approve each loan guarantee. In general, you could approve up to whatever, $10 million. Here, this is what we do, a loan guarantee approved, right? But there is going to be a staff report made available to the commissioners and I am working with the team, everybody's tripling up on our responsibilities given the loss of Tina, to ensure that you get your packets in advance, especially if it's a complicated issue with a constituent.
I see that. Didn't we have the strategic plan? Because that's not the strategic plan that we were using before. Is that when the constituents come in, you have a preliminary assessment of what they have. Then you go to the secondary and the third area, what is required.
With regard to?
Whatever the constituent's problem is, the findings and the solutions.
Yes.
And the recommended. So remember we had that before in the spreadsheet. So a week before we come to the table, we kind of understand each individual's background and what is background based on the interview on the staff report.
Okay.
So now it's like, okay, so who's this constituent? What do you know? What's going on? So, but you mentioned that you want to include the staff report.
I will include the staff report. I've only brought 4 people. 2 of them, I believe, didn't really need to come to the board, but it was for transparency purposes,
yes.
right? Before the board, and that I take responsibility for that. That's my oversight. That part of the process is staff reports will be made available And if possible, we will try and summarize it, especially the staff report's long for the commissioners. More
It's okay.
importantly
Even if it's long,
is,
if it's in detail, we'll cradle to grave, we're good.
they were purposely not included so that you could,
Their ID.
their names, right,
Yeah.
the names, right? So that there's no bias in the event we knew somebody. So it's just basically what it is that they're asking for. Otherwise, I would have prepared a staff report. Mr. Delphin brought it up. The reason for his delay is all these issues that came about,
Yeah.
that we needed to go out, site inspect, and then seek legal guidance on it.
Including the backfill or.
The backfill, yes. So yes, he's taking care of that. That's beyond our, right? There's the other issues that we needed to address and needed legal on it.
So he was not on the first come, first serve according to the date,
No, sir.
right?
So,
So do we renege that? I mean, you know.
He's one of the 102?
no,
No?
no, no.
on the- Right, because he, 2018, right? He got it? He got his lease on 2018?
I think so.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And he was in, yeah. So what I'm finding is, there's a lot of these things coming up in the staff. We have been, we seek legal guidance when these issues arise.
And then remember, right? Was he qualified under the 35112, the settlement agreement that, I mean, I don't know.
He doesn't need to because he already has a lease.
Right, yeah, I understand that.
Yeah. He didn't need to qualify
But
because
then if he puts a beneficiary, that beneficiary needs to qualify.
qualify under
Right.
75A.
And if the beneficiary doesn't qualify, what happens to his one housing loan of 320, the guarantee?
So if the Chamorro
That-
Land
that's-
Trust, if the Chamorro Land Trust guarantees that loan, in the event he defaults or he passes and there's no beneficiary to take a loan, then the Chamorro Land Trust Commission has the option to take a loan and then identify the next qualified individual, right?
Yeah.
You also have the authority, the commissioners do, right, to identify a beneficiary in the event a beneficiary was not named
Oh,
on the
We
on the
can.
lease. Yes. I remember that.
Okay, so we motion to recess.
To reset maybe the last week, the 28th through the September 1st, only because this is 1 week, and then they can give the legislature time to discuss it, right? And lobby all of them 1 week. So if you want, there's,
Could I get you to have legal look into that MOU between Chamorro Land Trust and Guam Housing? So I don't remember seeing that. We would be. An SBA also? No, but we have a separate, just recently. With Guam Housing.
If I-
They're going to require us to guarantee their Guam Housing loan for our constituents?
I'll take a look at that. I don't think, I think that has to do with
Or the-
individuals
yeah.
who are not
On a
first
Thursday?
home
A Thursday?
owners,
No, it's
but
not
CLTC applicants and their lessees, right? I'll take a look at it again, but I don't have legal, take a look at
Because
those
I was
current.
surprised that they were requiring us to guarantee his loan, and they're the lending institution.
Yeah,
I don't understand
I
that.
can't remember.
Yeah.
That's why I say, it's government land, so government loans, they should handle.
Yeah.
And Mr. Delphin wouldn't be in this position if they
Right.
guaranteed it. He would have been already building his house. But that's from the legislature, right, Director? I mean, that was the requirement, that they get a loan guarantee? No, not from the legislature.
No.
So who's from? what is
So in the
lending
law, it
authority?
states that you
MOU.
may,
From
It was just
internal,
between agencies.
I see.
you may, the law states you may guarantee the loan, you don't shall, you don't have to, right?
Well, the thing is that if we don't guarantee what happens to them, their loan expires, right? So then, no home.
They would have to go through another financial institution that may, but yes, no.
But see, the SBA benefit is that there's no closing costs. And if you go to Bank of Guam, it's going to be like the offense at 20K. So
20%.
how do we help those that are
Well,
devastated?
they get turned down even with SBA if you can't guarantee. So they can go to Guam House?
It should be Guam House, Guam Housing could potentially,
That this percentage was
Huh?
6%,
yeah.
and SBA was 2%.
So their interest
And
rate, I
its
believe,
closing
is
cost is
established by
20K.
board and law.
I mean, some people don't have 20,000. I mean, you may have 20,000 in your back pocket, but a lot of people don't
No, I
have.
don't actually,
No, honestly, right?
Front
I mean, you
of course.
know. Okay, so
So decide on the date,
on the 31st
you on the 31st?
of August, I make a
Are
motion.
you okay, Earl? You're gonna be around?
I think
Oh
I'm
my
good for the
God.
31st.
It's a
Just-
recess.
Let me just check if I'm gonna go.
To Ireland,
No,
Scotland, not.
expensive.
She's traveling the world now.
last week she was in Ireland.
I can't even take a flight from Guam to Hawaii, it's so exhausting.
How about the site?
I love that. I wish I could go,
Wait a
it's so
minute, where did you
expensive.
go?
I took my nieces to Japan,
Where?
just Disneyland, Disney
Oh,
Sea, yeah.
okay.
My 11-year-old and 6-year-old and my sister, so little sister's trip.
See the love that we give our children. No? I mean, you know,
Yep, those are my,
so.
You should have taken them to Kyoto so they can see the geisha.
I think
In
it,
that city, they wear the full outfits out on the road,
oh wow. I think if we had a little more time.
and they wear those wooden slippers,
The little wooden,
the ones like this.
Hello? Am I gonna be off, on island the 31st of August? Because I have to resume a board. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. What time though? Okay. No, because I'm trying to schedule a meeting. Yeah. Where? When are you leaving? Okay, so I'll make it the 30th. Okay, thanks. The 30th,
30, Wednesday?
is that okay?
At what time?
Same time.
1 o'clock. So recess until Wednesday, August 30th, at 1
Yeah.
PM here at the CLTC conference room.
Yes.
That would be your motion.
So Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to recess.
It states here, next meeting Thursday, September 21, 2023. So we'll also just prepare,
Yeah.
at that recess meeting, we'll adjourn until September 21 and we'll prepare the advertisements.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I don't have to say that now.
We're just recessing.
Second,
I second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
We're recessed until August 30th.
You cannot get paid twice, that's
I
why.
don't get paid.
Yeah.
So